What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Do you know that Comcast, Xfinity, Comcast, I don't know, do you know that they didn't get the issue resolved as far as the internet for my business and the building? So everybody in the building was kind of messed up as a result of it. I got architects in the building and whatever, right? Do you know that they didn't get this resolved until like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock this morning? Mm. Never mess up the money. Never mess up the money. That's why you got to be proactive. You got to have other things in place. You got to have everything taken care of. What up, y'all? How y'all feel? Did y'all enjoy the show last night? I thought it was an incredible show last night as usual. We got after hours tonight. All right? Yeah, crazy, man. Took them a whole 24 hours to resolve the issue. After hours is tonight, so you're going to see some of your favorite people that continue to have conversations. I know people is trying to hold me accountable on after hours saying that, oh man, we gotta hold Anton accountable. I've even seen some reaction videos of people that say that, oh, I can't believe that he loved the ladies and all of this other stuff. It's okay. It's okay. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm cool with that. I like it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's a beautiful thing when people hold me accountable. Makes for great content, right? Yeah. What's happening? Drone Sphere says, where's your redundancy MiFi? You didn't see me stream yesterday, despite the fact that I didn't have any connection. You didn't see that. You wasn't here for the show yesterday. You didn't see the fact that I still streamed in the studio, regardless of whether or not the internet was messed up. You missed that part. Sometimes I wonder, is it me or do people ask questions just to like for the sake of asking questions? They don't double check. They didn't see me stream yesterday with no problems. We still we still did the show without any kind of issue whatsoever. You didn't see that part? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Speaking of which, let me say this. Um be careful who you hire, especially when it's family. All right. Give me a second. Anton got to vent a little bit because this is my opportunity. You know how I said yesterday that therapy is a scam? Well, this is my form of therapy. When I get to go on a solo rant, for the next 5 minutes. That is my form of therapy, ladies and gentlemen. And so my rant today, my early morning thoughts, I'm not even going to say a rant. My early morning thoughts today are this. Be careful who you hire to do business with. Most of the time, it goes well. Let me tell you a little story. So this morning, I got several different things that's popping off because I'm popping right now. I'm big dog. I got a lot of visibility. I got a lot of motion. And so I got, several different things popped up for me, opportunities, big opportunities. One of them was a big money play. Big money play. Now, earlier this morning, I have a family member that works for me that I got to have a long discussion with. I'm not going to say that I'm going to fire him, but I got to have a long discussion with. And why that is necessary is because I had a conversation with a family member. And I couldn't believe him. I couldn't believe how he played it. But anyways, we had a discussion. We had a disagreement. Nothing new, not even related to business, none of that stuff. But, I had a family member that reached out to me this morning, and so we was having a conversation, and it got a little heated like it always does sometimes with family members. And so, I was just like, whatever, bro. Like, I ain't checking for nothing you talking about right now. You know what I'm saying? And he was on the same thing. Now, usually what happens with family is you get into a little bit of an argument or a debate or whatever, and then y'all be mad at each other, and then later on the day or the next day, you back cool again, right? But they were really upset with some of the stuff that I said. They were really upset with some of the stuff I said. Now, here's the problem, though, is because I'm in the car and I'm on my way into the studio and I go through and I'm seeing different opportunities that present itself. And so this family member is supposed to be handling that aspect of the business because that is what I pay them for. That is what I hired them for. That is their job. And so I'm reaching out to the family member. I'm blocked. I'm reaching out to the family member. I'm blocked. I'm texting, I'm calling, going straight to voicemail or whatever. Hey, I'm calling from no answer, no conversation, no nothing. So now I go into Anton mode because I'm never going to depend on anybody. Even though I hire people for certain things, I'm not going to depend on them. I'm always going to be able to do it myself. So, as usual, I go into it. I have to hurry up and get to the studio. And then I had to carve out time in order to make sure I did that and take care of this and take care of that. So I had to basically be on top of things. But they let their emotions about me almost fuck up the money. And see, that's the problem for me. That's always going to be a problem for me. I don't care about disagreements. I don't care about, this and that. All of that stuff is you can fix that. That's long term. But what I can't have happen ever under any circumstance. What I can't have ever happen under any circumstances, I cannot have people mess up my money. I can't have people mess up the money. I can't have people messing up my opportunities. I can't have people getting in their emotions and then they sitting there playing the block game. I don't play that game. I don't play that game. I listen, let me tell you something. And this everybody know this. Family, I will fire my wife if I need to. I will fire my I will fire anybody. I have no respect of persons when it comes to the mission, the money, the bag, and how it is that I need to be moving as far as how I envision myself. If anything and anybody gets in the way of my progress, and if they start to let their emotions play a bigger role than the program, because I regularly remind people that are close to me in my life. I had a conversation with my daughter yesterday. I have conversations with people, and I tell people, I said, listen, you're never bigger than the program. Listen, fellas, if you have not heard anything, if you have not listened to anything, if you have not seen, if you don't care about anything that I said, I know a lot of y'all was upset, especially all of y'all Africans and stuff like that. Y'all was upset because I held y'all accountable last night. That's cool. Come on back into the front of the congregation. Come back to the fold. We all figure it out. If you haven't heard anything that I've ever told you, hear this and hear me clearly. If you ever get somebody in your life, I don't care who it is, your homeboy from back in the day, a chick that you're talking to, a woman that you're married to, your children, if they get in your way, if they ever think that they're bigger than the program, you have to remind them, listen, you're not bigger than the program. And sometimes you're going to have to make some examples out of people because people don't believe you. They don't believe it until you actually start doing some stuff. And when it comes to me, I am very giving. I am very generous. I am a very, very much, I will put in, invest in you, whatever. But the 1 second, some people get a little bit more grace because they got a lot more equity built up with me. But the minute that I believe that you are messing up the bag and you think you're bigger than the program, then we got to move. We got to move in different directions. And I'm not even the type of person to trip about it. I'm not going to be upset with you. I don't care if you go and bust it down for a real one for somebody else. I don't give a fuck. I genuinely don't. I am going to focus 100% of my energy on whatever it is that I feel like God has ordained me to do. And everything else is extra. The kid is extra. The chicks is extra. The family is extra. The friends is extra. Workers is extra. But if anything and anybody get in my way, I will cry and cut you off in 5 seconds. I genuinely don't give a fuck when it comes to me fulfilling my purpose. There is nothing and nobody should, fellas, listen to what I'm telling you. There is nothing and nobody that should ever get in your way. Not love, not compassion. You'd be assed out, sitting out there on the curb, fumbled everything for a person that's going to go off and do something that they're going to do anyway, and ain't nobody going to come and save you. Mind your business. When I say mind your business, that means focus on the business. Everything else come extra. As long as everybody play their role, as long as everybody is responsible, I don't give a fuck what I did. I don't care what you disagree with. I don't care how much you think that I'm wrong or how much that I think that you're wrong. We got a mission to complete at the end of the day. We can handle the rest of that later. But ain't nobody going to be happy if the money is messed up. Carmen, tell your therapist that they wrong. I'm trying to say it the nice way. Tell your therapist that they stupid. You must got a woman therapist. You have to have a woman therapist, or you got a liberal therapist. At the end of the day, we got a mission to complete. We got some money to get. We can figure all of the rest of that junk out later. 100% we can figure the rest of that junk out later. Don't ever mess up the bag. Don't ever mess up the bag. Ever. Under any circumstance. I don't care what happens. Nobody is bigger than the program. Nobody is bigger than the program. That's my slogan. Anybody that's around me, they know. Hey, I might have to pivot. I might have to go over here. I may not see you for the month because I got to fly back and forth and take care of business. Oh, you'll figure it out. You'll get it. Nobody is bigger than the program. When I see you, it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a good time. But in the meantime, I got to go and take care of this business. Nobody is bigger than the program. Nobody. And if you don't understand that as a man, if you don't understand that and you don't stand on business when it comes to that, I guarantee you, you will never, ever become the man that you're supposed to be. You are going to live with regret. You are going to get to some point in your life where you get older. You're going to be 44, 45, 46, 43, 40. 37, whatever, and you gonna say, man, I knew I shouldn't have cared nothing about that hoe. Because the chick that you was so in love, oh my God, I'll do anything. I'll die for you. And then she put your head on a platter. The chick when you was 27 that you was so in love with, 30 that you was so in love with, guess what? She gonna be busting it down for a real one for somebody else. And you gonna still be out of the money and the opportunity. And they not gonna think twice about it. They not gonna pay you back. They not gonna come back and try to make it right. They're not gonna do none of that shit. They don't care, bro. People, let me tell you something about people. People have short memories and they move on. So whatever it is that you had going on or whatever it is that you got going on, that's you. They got their own life now. So you got to make sure that you do what's best for you. You got to take care of business. Everybody and everything ain't supposed to be for you for your whole life. Some people is a season in your life and you banked everything on them and you lost. You lost. You failed. You failed as a man. You failed. Everything and everybody is not supposed to be with you for the rest of your life. Trust me. Some people are, and other people come in and out, especially family members. Family members will switch up on you for 5 years and come back on the 6th year like, you know what? We need to bury this bridge. In the meantime, you didn't put your whole life on hold for them. Nobody bigger than the program. Nobody is bigger than the program. Nobody. Anton, how have you been able to stay married for 21 years? Because I understand that nobody is bigger than the program. They missed that part. They missed that part. Anton, how have you been able to maintain your masculinity, still stay married for 21 years? Because I help people to understand from the very beginning that nobody is bigger than the program. Not my mama, not my father, not nobody, not an auntie, not the pastor, not nobody. Nobody is bigger than the program. I only answer to God. I take suggestions. I take insight and information from the people that surround me. I understand that people add value, but I only answer to God. I don't answer to nobody. Nobody. Nobody can hold me accountable. 0 people in the world. They could say that, they could tell me about myself. They can do a reaction video. They could do a lot of things, but nobody, 0 people as a human being walking physically on this earth can tell me what to do. Nobody. And my one rule is what? I will never allow for you. I'm never going to prevent you from leaving. If you feel like it's a season in your life, you're a human being too. I respect you. If you feel like it's a human being in your life, or if you feel like as a human being in your life that you need to make some adjustments, I understand. I may not agree, but I understand. Just don't come back. Don't come back. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Let me read some of these cash apps and super chats, and then we're going to get it popping. It's going to be a great day today. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great rest of the year. It's going to be awesome. That's the cleaning company. Said, Anton, your order has been delivered. Nobody can mess up the bag. Shout out to Stuart Moran. Stuart Moran says, you are my sanity, sir. Keep up the truth. Thank you, Stuart. I appreciate you. My guy, Mike That Dude, is in the building. Shout out to Mike That Dude, the most consistent person that I've ever seen in my entire life. Philip Sook says, Anton, stop capping, bro. You know why I'm not going to talk about you, Philip? Because you got your mixed kids right there. Listen, this is why I don't talk. This is why I need people to have profile pictures of themselves. Philip, I'm going to go ahead and let you breathe today. Philip, I'm going to let you breathe today. Don't worry about it. But I will not be replying to Philip anymore because when I see your kids, I be trying to have, now if it was a picture of you as a baby, that would be different. But when I see people's kids, I just let them breathe. I just, I almost did it. I almost did it, but I'm going to let them go. That's why it's hard for me to be able to talk to people that ain't got no profile picture, because that's not of you. That's not of you. Y'all said don't do it. Y'all said don't do it. All right. Strike one. Strike one. I only give so much grace. Facts, Zeroyce. How do you cap about nobody being picked to the program? Beta, 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 beta. I got so many jokes lined up right now. Show some restraint for the babies. Why he put him up there then? Why he put him up there then? It's cool. It's cool. Thank you, Philip. Thank you. As I'm chilling. Philip, I appreciate you. If you Philip, listen, future advice. If you're gonna talk tough, not saying that you was talking tough, but this is just for the people for the future. Have your own profile picture up. And I don't want your kids to become collateral damage because I don't talk about. I stay away from people's kids. I will talk about you as a kid, but kids are off limits. So y'all right. Philip found the loophole. Philip found the loophole. Shout out to Philip. Shout out to Philip. Nah, I'm not about to air them out because I'm looking at them kids and I don't want to say nothing negative about nobody's father with their kids looking. Carrington says, "Good morning, millionaires. Dealing with a combative bear with no submissive training. Shaking my head. God help." Facts. Facts. Unbeaten says, "As a lifelong Republican and fiscal conservative, I'm mad at the bill adding $4 trillion to the debt. What are your thoughts? What was the point of Doge?" Unbeaten. I don't believe that you're a Republican. I genuinely don't think that you're a Republican and a fiscal conservative. You say fiscal conservative, meaning that you're conservative with your money, but it doesn't mean that you're conservative with your lifestyle. That's what people that are undercover Democrats say. I'm fiscally conservative. No, either you conservative or not. You can't pick and choose. You can't say I'm conservative with my money, but I'm liberal with my lifestyle. I'm liberal with my choices. You can't do that. You got to be one. And I don't think that the bill is going to add $4 trillion to the deficit. I think that that's what's projected. I think that the amount of money that's generated and then brought in from a tax perspective is absolutely going to cover that. I don't think that it's going to be $4 trillion added to the deficit over a period of time. Yeah, I agree. Here, Rhino. I see too many of your super chats saying otherwise. I think that you're a Republican in name only if you are. I don't believe that you're a conservative at all. At all. Not even a little bit. Architecture or cybersecurity, I can't decide. Well, I'm going into architecture because I love it. I would tell people to go into AI cybersecurity. That's what I would say. Chris Cunningham says grounds for unemployment. That's a fact. That's a whole fact. I don't like that. They call me Mr. Bibb says, first job out of Job Corps working with my uncle and almost jumping on him. He was so disrespectful. I fired my brother. Shout out Mr. Bibbs. Yvette says, hopefully you and Rita come out this way. It's been too long since I last saw you both. Yeah, I got to head out to the West Coast soon. I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the West Coast because I got a lot of business that I got to take care of over there. They anticipate they trying to get me to sign some paperwork out there, y'all. I needed to hear this. Says Black Jules TV. I know it's somebody that need to hear it. Kyler Green says thanks. I appreciate you for the super sticker. Thank you, Kyler Greens. Needed to hear that, Anton. Not falling off track, but that only solidified why I can't waver. God bless you and all of the bag chasers. Shout out to the chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. AC Reviews the World says, what up, AD? Thanks for everything that you do. I'm ready for the next content creation Patreon video. We got Stock Club coming up first. I've been grinding on my YouTube channel. Stock Club is coming up first. Magnetar says, if you want to remain as a great employee and don't want to worry about a manager all up in your video dancing, come to the USA Jobs with me. Jimmy Hope says, Malcolm X was right about everything. Well, you got to add some context. What exactly are you talking about? All right, y'all. High Tolerance says, morning AD and the Bag Chasers. Philip is using his kids as shields. He's asking for all of the smoke. No, Philip said he's standing down. Philip is cool people. We cool with Philip. We cool with Philip. And we love the babies. We love the babies. All right, y'all. We got a lot to cover today. We got to cover the ambushes on ICE facilities. We have to cover Los Angeles. So Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom got mad because ICE was over there and they interrupted. Philadelphia. Got to bring y'all to the front of the congregation because shootings, kids, fathers, you know the nine. And what else? We got people being laid off. We have Elon Musk starting his own party, and so he's giving more details with regard to that. And we got Tom Homan chiming in. We got a lot to cover today, all right? So make sure you share this with your friends and family. Also tap into the Patreon link is in the description. And we're going to get to it, all right? Cuddy says, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. He said that. Didn't he say that right before he shot him? Before he shot G Money? Oh no, that was yeah, Nino said that right before he shot G Money, I believe. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Let's get it, y'all. All right, so first things first, father of a 24-year-old over in Philly as a result of a shooting. They like to start labeling the mass shootings depending on how many people get killed or get hit at one particular time. But Philly was amongst the cities that I did not cover yesterday that had a weekend of bloodshed within the black community in particular. And Cheryl, what's her name? Cheryl Parker, the mayor of Philadelphia, she got boy, I don't know why anybody would want to become mayor. Listen, the only reason that somebody should ever run for office, unless you Trump or something like that, is if you are already have been successful in your life, because she got to deal with police officers. She got to deal with shootings. They got trash that they can't negotiate with the sanitation workers and the city employees. And they protesting and all of this stuff. What's going on with my picture here? What's happening, guys? What's happening here? This can't get cleared up. That's what we're dealing with today. All right. Look like we back. All right, y'all, let's get to it. Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. I appreciate y'all, and let's get it popping.
Yeah, Fred, several of those who were injured this morning were taken here to Presby. It remains unclear how many are still inside receiving treatment, although I did speak to one man's family a short time ago. They're extremely upset by what happened to him this morning. Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel describes the scene in Grace Ferry as horrific.
Hold on, let me see something. He got one too many S's in his speech. What y'all think? What y'all think? He got a lot of S's in the scene and his speech. What do y'all think? Y'all think he on that side, or y'all think he on this side? What y'all think? Lot of S's in that speech. And you know me, I'm not going to discriminate. If you're doing a great job, you're doing a great job. But we evaluate everybody that is a newscaster, and we judge everybody over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. And so what I'm trying to understand with y'all, what y'all think? A lot of zest in this one, says Connie. All right. We'll get there.
Unclear how many are still inside receiving treatment, although I did speak to one man's family a short time ago. They're extremely upset by what happened to him this morning. Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel describes the scene in Grace Ferry as horrific.
There is a lot of video circulating online. I'm sure all of you have seen it.
This video circulating on social media is one piece of evidence Philadelphia police sources say they're using as part of the investigation into this morning's deadly mass shooting in Grace Ferry. It's one of two shooting incidents in South Philadelphia over the busy 4th of July holiday.
I think the girl who was laying on my step, she was like 15.
Police say 12 people between the ages of 15 and 24 were shot, and 3 of them killed on the 1500 block of South Edding Street. The sound of gunfire caused Tiffany McDaniels to come outside her home.
It was very hard to, see. And the bullets hit my house. And just thank God that, my son didn't get hit.
Commissioner Kevin Bethel says officers were patrolling the area after getting reports of large gatherings and loud music and were nearby when they heard the gunshots.
It's pretty much a horrific scene. We do know, based on what we're seeing so far, almost 140 pieces of ballistic evidence has been recovered. We definitely believe, based on our observation, a gun with a switch was involved, which we've talked about, has been a significant issue for us.
Another mass shooting happening just before 4 Saturday morning at 7 restaurant along 11th Street at Washington Avenue in South Philadelphia. Officials say 8 people were injured after an argument escalated into a fight. Back in Grays Ferry today, the 17th District Police Captain walked the block with longtime community leaders, telling us he's reminding the innocent residents who live here that what they witnessed this morning isn't normal or acceptable.
So the goal for me as the captain of the 17th is personal involvement with these individuals who are helping me to understand some of the culture and also some of the issues. So it's not going to be a short run, it's a marathon, but we are confident that we'll be able to make the changes happen.
And one person was taken into custody in connection to this morning's incident. No arrests have been made in the 7-Element.
If anybody actually seen these shootings, if y'all seen them on X, I caught them on X. It was some of the craziest junk that I've ever seen in my entire life. Nobody. It was kids and people and young people everywhere. And when I say everywhere, they were everywhere. They were running, they were scattering. It was one dude that was shooting, and he couldn't even control the gun. You could tell that when he was shooting, it was shooting up in the air like this. He did like this, and then he was doing like this. Probably majority of it actually hit the top of the house or something like that. It was incredible. And I was like, yo, this is a war zone. This is a war zone. The entire video was the craziest thing that I had ever seen in my entire life. You saw it on IG and Facebook. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe, and everybody is running, and they just get up and start shooting. And everybody got switches. Don't y'all know that they handing out decades if you got switches? Don't y'all, dog, listen, man. Listen. Who else can you blame except for the parents? My daughter would never be anywhere near this nonsense. My daughter could not go out. Y'all got y'all young girls out there. For any parents, listen, it's bad enough that parents is bad in the first place. If y'all letting y'all daughters go out and hang out in the streets to where they getting into gunfights and this type of situation, y'all are crazy, bro. Crazy. I got everything on my daughter. I got the iFind mask. She call in at certain times. If everything, 100%. Extra insurance, all kind of junk. Who you going with? No. I'm all on it. I'm 100% on it 100% of the time. Every time she go out of town, I'm going with her. That's why I'll be on the plane half the time. Half the time I'm on the plane, I'm chasing her. All right, where we got to go? We got to go to this competition over here? Okay, so we get you a hotel room, get us a hotel room. Her hotel room is literally right next to mine. Y'all kids want to move out as soon as they turn 18. My daughter was like, so where we moving after I graduate? That's what my daughter say to me. Where are we moving? Dad, we gonna need we need a bigger house. Cause I'm not going nowhere. Y'all daughters is out here hanging out with monsters. You left your most precious jewel out here in the streets with monsters, and they just shoot.
Big an issue for us.
Look at this.
Another mass shooting happening just before 4 Saturday morning at 7-Element.
Crazy. Good God. Anyways, on top of this, a father decided that, a father of a fallen young man that was out there in the streets, he said he wanted to speak out. And this is what he had to say as a result of it.
Developing tonight, we're learning more about some of the victims in that deadly mass shooting in Grays Ferry. Philadelphia police say it was one of 19 shooting incidents over the July 4th weekend. 3 people in the Grays Ferry mass shooting were killed and 9 more injured. Investigators returning to the scene today. And Kelly, you spoke with the family of one of the victims who died. Unfortunately, this is not the first time they've dealt with gun violence.
Yes, Sheba, sadly that is the case. The father of 24-year-old Azir Harris had a heartbroken plea to the city of Philadelphia today to put the guns down. He says Azir was a father to a 1-year-old little boy and a paraplegic because he survived a drive-by shooting when he was only 17 years old. This family has been through so much and they are devastated.
Did y'all hear what he said? The father said the kid was already in a wheelchair and a paraplegic because he survived a drive-by shooting. So the kid was, think about this for a second. The kid is already in a wheelchair. Let me play that again for the people in the back, because I want y'all to know what's going on in the community, because everybody want to hide it and say, oh, no, we shouldn't be talking about that. Yes, we should. Yes, we should.
Sadly, that is the case. The father of 24-year-old Azir Harris had a heartbroken plea to the city of Philadelphia today to put the guns down. He says Azir was a father to a 1-year-old little boy and a paraplegic because he survived a drive-by shooting when he was...
He was a father to a 1-year-old boy. He was already in a wheelchair as a paraplegic. And now he is killed. So now the father gets to raise the grandchild of a slain son that had already been in a drive-by, and now the grandfather can become the father.
He's only 17 years old. This family has been through so much, and they are devastated.
I carried him at his time when he was down, and now I can't be there to pick him up no more, and it hurts. Really do. It hurts me bad.
Troy Harris says he keeps a close watch on his son, the youngest of 6, 24-year-old Azir Harris, who has been wheelchair-bound since he was 17 years old following his injuries in a drive-by shooting in South Philadelphia. When Azir's friends got him out of the house last night, he says he didn't question it.
Well, I figured they'd either go to the store, get some juice or something like that. Never thought that he would be.
I'm confused right now. Let me watch the full video. I'm trying to figure this out.
Be on the other side of town and that happened to him.
He identified Azir, an outgoing positive father to a 1-year-old boy, as one of the 3 victims shot and killed on the 1500 block of...
Are y'all thinking what I'm thinking? Am I the only person thinking what I'm thinking, or is all of us thinking the same thing? Give me a second. Let me work this out because I'm slow, so I'm a C student. Are y'all thinking what I'm thinking? Don't say it. You thinking it too? What am I thinking? What am I thinking? Nope, that's not what I was thinking. I think Molly caught it. That's what I'm thinking, Molly. That's what I'm thinking, Molly. That is exactly what I'm thinking. You hit the nail on the head. I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so they said, listen, this is what they said. And again, I'll be trying to understand some stuff, so y'all got to slow down with me. They said that he got hit and he was a paraplegic in the wheelchair, right? If you're a paraplegic in the wheelchair at 17, but you got a 1-year-old kid and you 24 years old, how does that work? Am I the only person? Does it? No, honestly, I'm wondering, does it work also? How does that work? How does that work? Y'all gotta keep me up to date. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. And I'm not asking, I'm really trying to understand it. Astrid says it works. How? It doesn't mean your D don't. If you're a paraplegic, how does that work? How? No, I don't believe that works. I got to find out for myself. I got to find out for myself. I don't believe it. I don't believe nothing that y'all saying right now. Paralysis of the legs and the lower body. So if your legs and your lower body does not work, all right. A man is paraplegic from the waist down. Does his penis still work? Really? I did not know that. All right, so here's my bigger question now. Here's a bigger question, right? One question begat another question, and another question begets another question. So you can still get an erection. People in the chat have educated me, and then I went and I did the research for myself. Okay, so it's a possibility that you said blood is flowing but no feeling. All right, so I've learned something today, all right? So with that being said, here's a bigger question. Here's a bigger question for y'all, all right? Because we all learning. We all in school today. Here's the bigger question. If he is able to still get boxed and have children respectfully as a paraplegic, I don't want to hear no more excuses from any men that say that they can't find no woman to get some box from. If I have seen several stories over every single live stream where I'll be just questioning myself and I'm saying, wait a minute, he getting chicks pregnant? How he gets chicks pregnant? Honestly, I'm genuinely, this is how my mind works. This is how I be thinking to myself. And I don't know why I'm this way, but I just think this way. And so if he can't even walk, how he able to get boxing? You can't. How was he able to have children and you can't? There is never an excuse. I don't want to hear anything from anybody. Oh, I'm too ugly. Oh, I'm a short king. He couldn't even get up and he getting boxed. That's no excuse. You can do it. It's confidence. He probably had the confidence of everybody. He probably had more confidence than anybody else that's watching this live stream right now. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. Oh, I'm got braces. Oh, my teeth is crooked. Nigga, he got. Let's get back to the story.
Of South Edding Street around 1 a.m. He says Azir's son's mother was one of the 9 other victims injured in the shooting. Emotional loved ones gathered outside Penn Presbyterian Hospital all morning for updates as police were seen towing vehicles away. Gathered outside Penn Presbyterian Hospital.
Look at the people. Look at the people. This is y'all community. This is the community right here. It's right here. Coach purses galore. Sheen hookups. Sundresses, most of them bigger than they need to be. Rolls everywhere, falling out on the street, sandals and Crocs everywhere. This is it right here. This is your community. This is your community right here. Right there. You see it? This is the scene of something that can go wrong every single time, bro.
All morning for updates as police were seen towing vehicles.
What is that? What is that, y'all? Man, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. What is that, y'all? What kind of car is that? I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna let you say it. I'm not gonna say it. This is the baby mama starter kit, yo. Buy some hair pieces that fly off, some baby hairs that's in the front. Get you a crashed up Altima / Nissan Maxima. You really doing it if you got a Nissan Maxima every single time. This is the starter kit. This is a starter kit right here. You literally can't make this up.
Evidence. As seen in this surveillance video, police say they believe more than 100 shots erupted during an impromptu block party gathering on the block. Police say this video is part of their ongoing investigation. The gunfire striking homes and cars, one of them towed from the neighborhood today. Commissioner Kevin Bethel said he believes at least one gun had a switch on it, a device that can convert handguns into fully automatic machine guns.
We had a significant level of violence over the weekend, but we can continue to see our trends are not heading in the opposite direction. We will not go back to the times where we had 560 plus homicides. That is not happening.
Frustration. I understand what happened last night, but it's really about understanding what we did yesterday and tomorrow.
Tyreek Glasgow with the Young Chances Foundation says they set up most days like this on the block with other agencies, including the 17th District Police. He says he had to cancel summer camp today as many children were scared to leave home.
To wake up this morning from what happened last night is a travesty. So it takes us to change this.
Harris also hoping for change as his family manages a new nightmare.
I just want to say, put these guns down, man. It's a better way to solve it. Really do. It's a better way to.
Ain't y'all tired of people talking about, hey, it's our responsibility to change this? No, respectfully. Are y'all not tired of people saying, you know what, it's on us? We got another block club. We got another food drive. We got another basketball drive. We got some more government benefits, handouts, all of this stuff. Yo, aren't y'all, honestly, I'm starting to think that most of these organizations, these hood organizations, yeah, we gonna give back backpack drives and stuff. I'm almost thinking that, like, it's a waste of time. It's literally a waste of time and a waste of resources. Yo, I am at the point where it's like, what we still doing pouring into the community? What are we still doing pouring into the community? At some point, you have to ask yourself, like, are we tired? Are we done or are we tired? Because at some point, it's like, all right, listen, it's time to go, big dog. Time to rock out with my cock out. I gotta go. I can't, bro. I can't keep putting myself in this situation. I don't want to subject my future children to it. At some point, you have to get out of the situation and you have to completely walk away. I don't need another can drive. I don't need another walk for tots. I don't need another put the guns down drive. I don't need none of that no more. It's over. We've been doing that since the 70s, bro. Since the 80s and the 70s. There is nothing that has changed in the community. Honestly, the only thing I think that people need to do from now on is just divest themselves against the situation and get up out of there. Make sure that you're not the one that's perpetuating the violence and the behavior. And once you realize that you've actually taken responsibility for your life and you no longer want to bring your ghetto self and your ghetto blocks and yourself over to other neighborhoods, get out. You got to get out. You got to get out. Some of y'all got to leave your city. You got to leave your city. Maybe not even leave your city, but leave your neighborhood and go somewhere else where you're not known and, start over. Just leave your block and go to another neighborhood. Don't go revisit your friends and get the heck out of there. I ran into a guy yesterday. Shout out to everybody that I ran into yesterday. I ran into a guy that I used to work with 23 years ago. 23 years ago, I ran into him. Ton, he said, Ton, remember we used to work in a steel mill together? Man, we was babies. We was so young. He was telling me about all of the people that had died and all of the different stuff that had happened. And this person crashed out and this person is this and this person is that. But we've been watching you from a distance, bro. We proud of you. And I was really appreciative, but it helped me to realize that in order for me to grow, I had to separate myself. It's just the facts. In order for me to grow as a man, in order for me to get what God had for me, I had to separate myself from the things that was around me at that particular time. And that's not a knock on them. It just means that God has something special for me. And you're going to have to realize some of you guys, I'm going to speak to the guys right now, but this is applicable to the women too. Some of you guys are so dedicated to staying dusty, and you are so dedicated, you have a calling on your life that is way greater than whatever it is that you are. And I can't stand when I see guys that say, man, you know, all of us can't make it. All of us can't become successful. All of us can't make more than $100,000 a year. All of us can't be great. All of us. And so you've literally set your tone and your destiny. Bro, most of the stuff that I do in my life, I manifest it before it even comes true. I visualize it. I see it. I confirm it with God. Honestly, I talk to God every day and I'm like, man, is this the thing that I need to be putting all of my energy into? Once I receive my confirmation and the witness that go along with it to confirm it, I'm gone. I'm gone, bro. I'm out. When I set my sight on something, I'm off to the races. I'm never going to sit and settle. I'm gone. I'm out. And then I'll be like, hey, who coming with me? 1 or 2 people out of 100 be like, I'm down. They give me my Jerry Maguire moment. Who's coming with me? And it'd be 1 or 2 people. Hey, man, I'm rolling with you no matter what. Whatever you do, I do. The rest of them be like, he don't know what he talking about. I'm off. I'm not waiting. I'm not trying to convince nobody. I'm gone. I'm out. Some of us been raised in the hood, but we not still there. Some of us was raised in the projects. We not still there. Some of us was raised to believe that we were Democrats. We not still there. Some of us was raised to believe that we can do better. We not still there. Bro, you don't have to have your kids running around growing up the way that you do. You don't have to, have your children having student loans. You don't have to do none of that stuff, bro. You're only limited by your own imagination and your own dedication to your success. And when people just continue to subject themselves to the nonsense, I can't. It's time to go, bro. It's time to go. Denise says, you the lucky ones. No, we are not lucky. We're not lucky. We're intentional. That's the thing. You create your own luck. Opportunity got to present itself, but success is when preparation meets opportunity. Never forgot that. My high school assistant principal, Mrs. Gatling, said that. She kind of looked like the person that I'm about to talk about in the next story. She said, Anton, listen to me. You create your own luck. And I remember because I was getting in trouble and I was in the office and it was me and my homeboy. Shout out to my homeboy, Maul. Maul wound up becoming a poet and a rapper or something like that. And she said, Anton, listen to me. Because I had got in trouble. I had kicked over some desks because I was pissed off and they banned me from being able to go to prom. And so I was like, well, I don't care. I'm going to some other girls' prom. So I went to 2 other proms with other girls. And she said, Anton, I need you to hear me out. It was my senior year. And she sat me down. She said, listen, you are too smart and too bright. You're not like the rest of these kids in here. You're not like the ones that's we know. We know which ones is bright. And hopefully I'm going to save you from yourself. And I was sitting there with my arrogance and all of this stuff. And she said, Anton, everybody gets lucky. Everybody gets an opportunity. And a lot of people don't get a lot of them. But I need you to understand that success is when opportunity meets preparation. If you're not ready, it's going to pass you by and it's going to go to somebody else. And I didn't want to hear it at the time, but it just kept sticking with me. What is she talking about? Success is when opportunity meets preparation. Success is when opportunity meets preparation. What is this? Okay, preparation. That means I've always got to be working. I always got to be prepared. And the opportunity is going to present itself. But it ain't nothing coming my way yet. Okay, just stay ready. So you ain't got to get ready. As soon as it hit, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone. Chris Cunningham says you got kicked out of prom. Well, it was my senior year, and it was at the end of the year, and so I had already took my finals or whatever like that, and then somebody pissed me off, and so I kicked over some chairs and I kicked over some desks. I kind of spazzed out in the classroom because I had anger issues. As far as when people would get, piss me off, and I felt like I wasn't wrong, and so they couldn't really punish me. They couldn't say, oh, you can't graduate. They couldn't give me no more detention because it was the end of the year. And so the only way that they felt like they could punish me was to take away my ability to be able to go to prom. And so I didn't go to my own prom. I went to two other girls' proms. One of them went to a private school, so I went to her prom. She went to Mercy. And I went to this other girl's prom also. But yeah, that was the only way that they felt like they could punish me because it was already the end of the year and I had already took my finals and I was already set to graduate. So it was nothing that they could do to me. And so she just wanted to have that conversation with me before I got let out for the summer. And it stuck with me. It stuck with me. Definitely stuck with me. So make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me see what's happening. High Tolerance says, brain teaser, name one successful female mayor. I think we about to have a female mayor in Detroit. One successful female mayor. I can't think of one right off the top of my head. That's a pretty good one. High Tolerance. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Mass shooting, the jail sentence is different. Shout out to Chris Cunningham. CEO First says, good morning, AD and the Bag Chaser. Had time to chat. Been on a heavy grind, but I've been listening every chance I get. Keep doing God's work. Shout out to CEO First. I appreciate you, big dog. Silver Lion said he has more zest in him than the Zest soap itself. 392Q says that switch so bad, you have better aim without it. Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. Shout out to Papa Neo says sagging. Shout out to you. Manuel AG says one guy was shooting over someone else's head. Man, these boys is crazy, bro. Mr. Lot says that's like Blade Icewood. One drive left him handicapped, the other one killed him. Yeah, Blade is a legend in Detroit. Tony Pickney says that boy was in a wheelchair getting cat, and people are sitting there and they talking about how they can't get no women. 392Q says, I know, AD, you said you got to raise your daughter different than a son. You think a son need to suffer failing in controlled environments? Absolutely. 100%. I don't believe it. Like, for example, I say that, and when I say in controlled environments, they don't have to be in the hood, but at the same time, they should have to catch the bus. You see what I'm saying? They need to figure out a way to get to work. They need to be in a position where you're not buying them a car. They need to save for it and buy it themselves so they'll learn how to appreciate it. They need to go through some things, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be there to catch them. That's what the controlled environment part is. But the girls, they got to learn differently and they need to be protected. The boys, you got to kind of let them out on the leash a little bit. You got to let that leash off. Eric Welfare says, AD, wow. Christopher Mayberry says there's literally someone for everyone. It's a lot of somebodies for everybody. Snoop Dogg on training day, says Mr. Lot. Bob says, being a paraplegic don't change the game. You kick. Facts. Baby hairs and Ultima, says Tech via Tony. Smaltima Taltima Recaltima says, starter kit activated. You can't make this up. Wesley Turner says Philly is Dr. Umar's city, isn't it? Where is he at? I have no idea. Fob Brown says, yo, AD, I posted about this exact shooting in Philly saying we have to do better. People commented, well, what about Trump's crimes? You don't post. And why don't you post white on white crime? Fob Brown, you wasting your time, bro. You are wasting your time trying to convince these people not to be hood. You just got to separate yourself. I told you that on the phone. You got to separate yourself. Miss Freckles says, Evanston's joining the Bag Chasers. The money keeps chasing me. Thank you, Anton, for the true mindset adjustment. And that's perfect. So, Miss Freckles, let me say this. If you are not a part of the Chasers, and if you are not trying to be a part of Stock Club, then that's cool. But if you're trying to rock out with a group of people that's going in the direction that they're going in, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Whoo! Karen Bass is quickly becoming the worst mayor in America, in my opinion. I'm not sure that there's a Cheryl Parker in Philadelphia, and Karen Bass has been there a lot longer than Cheryl Parker. But man, I'm telling you, Karen Bass is working. She is working on destroying an entire city, the fabric of it, America, being the landmark city of California and being literally the worst mayor in America. She is chasing Brandon Johnson. The only difference between her and Brandon Johnson is Brandon Johnson ain't been as visible lately. Karen Bass has to be one of the worst people, let alone the worst mayors. I don't even know how y'all could have voted for her. Why would you vote for somebody that has a helmet like this? Oh. Let's get it, y'all.
MacArthur Park becomes the latest scene of a massive presence of immigration enforcement agents, heavily armed federal agents on horseback in military vehicles descending onto that park.
This time things ended differently than we've seen in the past. Fox 11's Laura Diaz live in downtown LA with more. What happened out there today? Laura.
Yes, the big question tonight is what was the purpose of the show of force? We can tell you that there were not that many people present in the park when that raid took place. And unlike other raids, advance word leaked out. Fox 11 was on the ground and up in the air.
And that's why Tom Homan and Trump said that people could no longer go along on these ICE raids, because the reason why certain things playing out the way that it's playing out is because people keep leaking out that they are now going to be doing these raids. They got to continue to root out all of the bad actors. They have to continue to root out all of the bad actors, because the only reason why these illegal migrants are even getting a reprieve is because they got inside sources from people that's leaking out that the raise is going to come. And this is one of the reasons why all of this hysteria starts to play out. And you know it's coming from the inside.
This is an overreach of your authority. By 11:10, there was tanks and all this. They got tanks all through here. They got the white vans. They got the trucks. They got all this shit out.
About 10:30 Monday morning, heavily
Gotta be the ignorant black man that get interviewed.
Armored Border Patrol officers with a fleet of vehicles and some on horseback descended on MacArthur Park. This is the heart of the immigrant community, just 2 miles from downtown LA. Sky Fox was overhead as the operation kicked in. Our Fox 11 photographer, Sam Dubin, on the ground, recording the dramatic scene. Immigration agents in military green carrying rifles. Neighbors and community activists rushed to the park, challenging those in the action. Children were scurried from the urban park.
The military pointed their guns at us and they were screaming at us, cursing to get the out of there.
Among those arriving on the scene was LA Mayor Karen Bass, flanked by security and in a crush of people pushing for the operation to end. Our camera caught her on the phone, pleading with officials to stop.
You're getting ready to leave? Okay, please, can you leave ASAP?
My comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now.
Soon after, the operation ended, reportedly with not one undocumented person taken into custody. A couple of hours later, a news conference was called at LA City Hall, with the mayor surrounded by community activists and city council members denouncing the raid. Fox News spoke exclusively with Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bavino, who had tough words for Bass.
The federal government is not leaving LA. I don't work for Karen Bass. The federal government doesn't work for Karen Bass. We're going to be here till that mission's accomplished, as I said, and better get used to us now, because this is going to be normal very soon.
Did you hear what he said? He said, listen, we don't work for her. We don't mess with her. We don't work for Gavin Newsom. And do you know what was a part of the big, beautiful bill that a lot of people don't want to have a conversation about? What was a part of the big, beautiful bill? And one of the things that they were advocating for, and I'm surprised that liberals missed this, and this is how I know that they were lying about reading the bill. This is how I know that they were lying about actually running it through AI or some version to allow for them to be able to get some insight. They were so worried about food stamps and welfare that they didn't deserve for able-bodied adults that didn't want to work, that they missed that the funding to make sure that we continue to staff not only our military, which is probably our greatest investment, to be honest with y'all, and I broke that down in another stream. Go back and watch it. But also the budget for Immigration, Customs, and Border Patrol has increased significantly. And so that is a part of the big, beautiful bill, is that we need more people to ensure that those that are not supposed to be here and those that are trying to cross over illegally into drugs that they are filtering in here, and the people that decide that they want to come over here illegally, they get vetted more effectively. And the people that are at the border that's trying to do it legally, you have to get vetted more effectively so that we can make sure that we put America first. And I am surprised. I'm surprised that they missed that. I'm surprised that they didn't see that. I'm surprised that more conversation was not being had about immigration, customs, and enforcement, and border patrol and homeland security was not being discussed. And so what he's telling her is, listen, we don't care. We don't work for you. We work for the federal government, which supersedes the state's level of security when it comes to securing our borders. Now, states have a lot of power. States have a lot of power. You know when we learned that in real time? Because it's much different than taking the civics class. Y'all wasn't paying attention in civics class. Y'all should have been paying attention. But I was paying attention when we had it during the pandemic, because the states were the ones that were determining whether or not they were going to stay open, whether or not they was going to stay closed, what they were going to do, what businesses could and couldn't do it. And the federal government didn't have any power over some of the most egregious things that the states were enforcing. I remember over in New York, they were one of the first states to require for you to take the jab if anybody was to have to travel there for business. And people were upset. See, y'all got short memories. I don't. And because I was reporting on it and because I was covering it on a regular basis, I remember that the states had a lot of power to determine how they wanted to exercise rights over people that didn't agree with their governors. And the governors were basically acting like presidents over their people. But there are now certain things that take place that then supersedes what happened on a state level. And one of that is to ensure that illegal, undocumented migrants crossing over into the United States of America, they have to be arrested and they have to be sent somewhere, and possibly even went to Alligator Alcatraz. So if you don't want to go to Alligator Alcatraz, then just don't come over here illegally. That's what I remember. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass was having press conferences in order to try to rally the people, which they know that they full of it. They full of it. They on the wrong side of history on so many different things. But this is what was happening during Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass making sure that they do a press conference for the people.
All right. Thank you, Vera. Earlier today, dozens of federal agents flanked by National Guard troops swarmed MacArthur Park. Mayor Bass and Governor Gavin Newsom denounced their actions as political theater intended to scare the community.
Over a dozen military vehicles, Humvees, agents on horseback flooded the park, but we still don't know if they actually detained anyone. Rachel Menitoff live from downtown L.A. with more details for us tonight. Rachel.
John, Mayor Karen Bass called it a political stunt. She told us she does not believe anyone was actually detained, that this was more performative and a way to create fear in the community. Now, you can probably hear many people now gathering outside of the federal building where troops have been stationed for the last couple of weeks. They are reinforcing Mayor Bass's message and protesting the ongoing ICE activity in LA.
I seen a bunch of white people. I was headed out to the suburbs yesterday. And where was I at? I was driving down. Was it Telegraph? Oh, no. I was driving down M59, Highland Road, for those of you that are in Michigan. And so Highland Road in Michigan is a very white, once you pass Pontiac and you start to go into Waterford and all of that type of stuff. And it is a very white area, White Lake, Waterford, all of that type of stuff. I mean, super white, like one step away from everybody having a pickup truck and monster truck tires on it, you know. And so I'm driving down Highland Road and I look over next to the McDonald's and I see a whole lot of white people. Now, when I see a gathering of white people, it's much different than seeing a gathering of black people. When you see a gathering of black people, it could be a fight. It could be somebody looking at somebody doing a burnout. It could be a lot of different things, right? It could be somebody is giving away free food and cell phones. It could be, you know, black people gonna show up, you know. When I see a gathering of whites, it's a different type of energy, right? Usually they are privileged. A lot of times they may be mixed in with some poors, and they usually have a sign. And so you look out there and I see them. Stop authoritarianism. No kings. Save our migrants. I think that white apologists are probably the worst thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's the saddest scene that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's the saddest group of people that I've ever seen in my entire life. White apologists are hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me. When I see poor white apologists or white apologists that are normal middle-class citizens that feel like they need to stand up for their rights. Dude, do you know that nobody, and I mean nobody cares about white protesters? Nobody cares about white protesters. It's just honest to God truth. It's just real. And so I'm sitting there and I'm driving by in my big $120 plus $1,000 Navigator, and I got this rose gold Rolex on, and I got $20,000 in my pocket, and my bank accounts is bulging, and I got business opportunities everywhere, and I get a tax cut from Trump, and I get to expand my business, and I got more things on the horizon, and my daughter is sitting there like, look at these idiots. My daughter is looking at the white apologists, and it's funny because they can't see me because my windows is tinted all the way around, so you can't see in my car. And I'm just laughing, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious how the tables have turned sometimes, that I'm sitting there looking at them complain about the state of America that they helped build and create and that they formed. Isn't that crazy? I'm sitting there laughing at them. I'm more pro-America than the people that whose ancestors actually enslaved Africans so that they can help build this place up. I know that y'all ancestors is rolling in y'all grave. I know that John Brooks from way down yonder will be disappointed, and his great grandson, you should never have him in the first place. I know they are rolling over in their graves. They are seething. They are down there in hell looking up like, I done sacrificed my whole life and gonna come down here to burn for eternity for you to be out there sitting there talking about no authoritarianism. I know they burning in hell, mad as hell at y'all. You mean that they gave their whole life so that they can burn in hell so that they can sit there and watch you become a victim? What a sacrifice. What a sacrifice. What a sacrifice that those Americans made so you could be standing on the side of the road complaining why a black man. I know that they looking like, you got black men riding in them big old cars taking over. No way. No way. No way I would be sitting on the internet as a white person. And this, listen, y'all want to have a real conversation? Let's have a real conversation. No way would I be sitting on the internet as a white apologist, letting black people outwork me, outdo me, outbeat me, and outrich me. No way. If I was a white man, I would be absolutely disgusted at myself. You mean I'm on meth? I don't have no teeth. My face is falling inside. I don't have no hair. And I'm sitting here looking at this man bumping Rick Ross, the new Rick Ross and Pharrell. Everybody want beats. Everyone go. And I'm just driving by, and I'm a certified conservative Republican with a strong family, with a great daughter and strong community, and you sitting there. Bro. Black people, if y'all really want to piss white people off, all right, legally, because I'm not advocating for anybody to do anything illegally. Black people, if you really want your get back, become successful. White people ain't tripping about, look at me, I'm about to go off on a tangent. I done already got derailed. White people ain't tripping about black people being uncivilized because y'all keep killing yourselves and y'all keep giving all y'all kids to Planned Parenthood, flushing it down the toilet, doing shootouts in Philly. They not tripping about that. They just letting y'all eliminate yourself a little bit more. They want the property value go down a little bit more, and then that's when they swoop in, buy everything up, build it up, and then they sell it back to you at 1,000% interest rate and profit. That's the game. Hey, let them depress the area. And then eventually what you're going to do is you're going to depress the area, you're going to move out, and then that's when they swoop in. It's going to happen in St. Louis. It already happened in Detroit. It's going to happen in Chicago. Give it 10 years. Give it 10 years. If you want to piss some people off, then become a straight up red-blooded American that takes advantage. Educate yourself. When I say educate yourself, I'm not talking about going to school. Read the tax laws and understand it. Become a bag chaser and leverage stocks. You can own Target. You don't have to protest against it. Why would I protest against something that's going to be profitable for me? That's what I decided to do. I said, you know what? I'm not about to be out here hot, sweating so that I can go home and don't have no money. I'm about to get some money, and then I'm going to build my community, and then that's how I'm going to really show off. Do you know how much greater, do you know how great it feels to drive, to walk into the tunnel? I don't go through the same, I walk through the owner's tunnel, and I don't park with the regular people, and I walk past them all, and I had my Trump hat on, my Make America Great Again hat, and to see white liberals angry, I can't believe he's wearing that hat. But you talking behind me. You're not in front of me, though. It's me. I'm kicking it with the coach. The players, we all front row. We having a good time, and I can't even see you behind me. The only reason I can identify who you are is because you're talking like this. You can't afford to take your kids where I take my kids. That's revenge. That's real revenge. Success. When they say success is the greatest revenge, it's true. Listen. This goes for anybody. If you want to piss somebody off, become successful.
Of which today's was one of the largest.
To me, this is another example of the administration ratcheting up chaos by deploying what looked like a military operation in an American city. So I went to MacArthur Park because it is very important that the truth be told about what happened there. Now, you can spin it any way you like, but in my opinion, it's a political agenda of provoking fear and terror.
Every day they are here, they disrupt the economy and they cost this state and this city and county millions and millions of dollars in real money, but also the kind you can't count. And that's making people scared to leave their houses and making people scared to go to school and to the doctor and to call the police or the fire department when something is wrong.
That's usually what happens when you're illegal. Like if you commit a crime and you're afraid of getting arrested, you neglect to call city services. Do you know what happens when people get shot and they shoot people, for example, and you get into a shootout and you just so happen to be getting hit? most of the time they wait until the very last minute until they're about to die, but go to the hospital. You know why? Because they know the police is waiting for them at the hospital. So I don't see that as a bad thing at all. Because people that's not worried about getting deported don't have no problem with calling the police or going to the hospital. They're legal citizens of the United States of America.
The mayor's office showed this video during today's press conference. It appears to show Border Patrol agents in formation and then federal agents on horseback walking across a soccer field in the park. The city says there was a summer camp in session at the time, and kids were ushered into a nearby building to try to shield them from what was happening. More than 4,000 California National Guard and hundreds of U.S. Marines have been deployed to L.A. since June. This is, of course, against the wishes of Governor Newsom, who we also heard from today.
I want folks to know we have your back, and we'll continue to come back and do what we can to protect our diverse communities, to protect the spirit that defines the best of this city and our state, and to push back against this cruelty.
So that is what's going on in Los Angeles. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon link is in the description. Let's continue on with the show. Let me read a couple of super chats, and then we gonna go over to the next thing. DC Grace says, AD, do you use StreamYard for reaction videos? If not, what would you recommend? No, I do not use StreamYard for reaction videos. And if you want the full breakdown of how I'm able to do whatever it is that I'm doing, then you're going to have to join the Patreon. That is what I give all of the information out on. That's why I show all of the things that I got going on. Matter of fact, if you go on to the last live stream that I did with AI, I actually showed people on my computer exactly how I do things. So, yes, respected highly studio. The only time that I use StreamYard is for two reasons. Number one, if I do not have a stable, really strong internet connection, meaning that I'm in a hotel room or I'm traveling or something like that. That's the first thing. And the second thing is if I have to, I need other people to be able to control what's going on, or I'm doing a live stream with a lot of other panel members. That's the only time I use it because, it's good for that. So, but other than that, I don't, I think that StreamYard is necessary when you're using it for certain things. I don't necessarily care for it because I think it kind of limits you, but they're working to improve it. Respected Highly Studio says, Ice, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Howie Brown says, the media reporting is such a lame perspective of the issue. I be projecting says, I'm watching from the beginning, AD, and what you said about the program hit me hard and shook me. I appreciate you, big dog. I'm gonna watch you forever as long as you won't hear hashtag to the bag chasers. Nobody is bigger than the program. Nobody is bigger than the program. All right, let's continue on with the show. Robert Jackson has said he's not a Patreon guy. Okay, I'm cool with that too. A lot of people don't want to learn. A lot of people don't want to understand. A lot of people not interested in stocks. A lot of people not interested in real estate. Some people not interested in meetups. And some people just want to observe the show. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Let me see how many people I got on Patreon right now. $17,753 people disagree. So, I mean, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. 17,000 people, over almost 18,000 people sees it otherwise. And so I'm not mad at you, We jumped over 1.3K. $17,753 people think differently. So we jumped over 1.3K over the last 30 days. So somebody loves it. Somebody is enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? So, Some people wanted to neglect getting a Happy Meal from McDonald's, and they wanted to join the Bag Chasers, and they had a great time. So anyways, make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. If and only if you're looking to rock out with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. Let's pivot for a second. Ambushed on Border Patrol agents and ICE members. Crazy. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Let's deep dive into it. Yeah, let's rock out.
Reporting for us this afternoon. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, Martha, this is still an active investigation led by the FBI after yet another attack on federal agents involved in immigration enforcement. The attacker opened fire early this morning outside a Border Patrol annex in McAllen in what Fox is told was clearly a planned ambush. Border Patrol agents and local police returned fire, hitting and killing the shooter, who was armed with an assault rifle.
There were many dozens of rounds fired by the suspect towards the building and towards agents in that building.
The Border Patrol facility was left riddled with bullet holes. One McAllen police officer was hit in the knee by either a bullet or shrapnel. Police identified the shooter as Ryan Lewis Mosqueda, 27 years old, with links to Texas and Michigan. The McAllen attack follows two violent incidents at ICE facilities. On July 4th in Alvarado, Texas, a police officer was shot in the neck after several people opened fire on officers outside the Prairieland Detention Center. The officer was treated and released. And there was also another attack on an ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, Friday night, a facility that has been the site of an ongoing protest for several weeks.
We're pulling agents off of regular duties now to harden our securities at our facility to make sure that we're on a heightened state of alert in order to prevent these attacks from continuing. And these are pulling those agents off of what they should be doing, which is out enforcing the law.
All of these attacks, Martha, remain under investigation tonight.
If one ICE officer dies, listen. If one ICE officer, because I think that these guys are doing the Lord's work. I think that they are doing a phenomenal job. They are keeping the United States of America safe. And this is an environment that I think that Democrats should be responsible for, because they are the ones that are creating this violence and inciting this violence and inciting people to go and do stuff that they're not supposed to do. But I will tell you this. I believe that if one ICE officer is hurt, and not even just hurt, I'm talking about like passes away or something like that, I believe it's going to be hell to pay. The worst thing that the illegal migrant community could ever do, and I know that there are paid protesters and people that are out here running amok and they doing certain things. The worst thing that could ever happen, if you ever watch a series like The Wire or something like that, you'll know that there are certain people that are untouchable. And if you're not a part of the game, for example, if you're not like if you're a senator or whatever, you can choose not to rock out. You can choose not to do business. Senator Clay Davis, even Avon Barksdale understood that you don't hit a senator. You don't hit Clay Davis. You just can't go after Clay Davis. You got to leave that to the authorities to try to stop him. And I believe that one of these people gonna mess around and find out. If one of these officers get hit and ever pass away, it is going to be hell unleashed on every single illegal migrant. If I'm an illegal migrant, I'm trying to move a little under the radar. I'm being quiet. And y'all messing it up for everybody. And see, that's the thing. I talked to an illegal migrant. I talked to an illegal migrant. Because for the people that don't know, here in Detroit, in the Metro Detroit area, we have the biggest population of Arabic people. We have now a lot of them obviously is legal and a lot of them are not, right? We have a huge population of Chaldeans. We have a pretty decent population of Asians and Japanese people here. And so I was talking to a guy and he said, yo, Ton, because, I don't want to say what he do, but he said, yo, Ton, he said, man, these people are stupid as hell. I said, what you mean? He said, man, they making it hot. He said, man, to be honest with you, we don't want people protesting. We don't want people over here. We want people in our business and all of that. We just trying to skate under the radar until hopefully we can get our papers and we can still make money because ain't nobody trying to be getting deported. Ain't nobody trying to have that type of heat on them. And I say, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So why would you be sitting there bringing more attention? Because obviously you're not smart. If you really cared about these people or you really was trying to operate under the radar, you would not be trying to bring more attention to yourself. That is the dumbest thing ever. When we was in church, right? And a lot of y'all may not be familiar with this, but I always like to relate real life stories in order to help you guys understand where I'm coming from, right? When we were in church, there were people that used to prophesy. Some of y'all that was a part of the black church, the Baptist, Pentecostal, evangelistic, all of that stuff. There were real people, and I know it to be real. There are people that can see the future. There are people that can predict certain things. There are people that can dream dreams. It is a real thing. Y'all may not believe it. Y'all may not see it as real, but it's a real thing. I have seen people come in and say, touch a person and read they whole what they've been doing. Oh, you cheating. You a cheater. Oh, what's her name? Not only will they say it, they'll be like, oh, who is, oh, I know who she is. So you got kids. Who is Little John and Little Nick? From a girl named Sharon. And niggas be sitting there. I have never seen in my entire life black people get more scared and freeze up. Niggas was looking like, oh my God, I ain't never going in that church again. I'm telling you, listen, if you ain't never seen it before, you couldn't imagine it. I've seen people get, oh, you went to the doctor the other day. Chlamydia, herpes. Is that what they told you? Girls be looking like, niggas be freezing up, scared. I'm telling you, it is a real thing. If you've never seen it before, if you've never witnessed it, you can't imagine it. You can't imagine it. But I've never seen a group of people freeze up more than I've seen that happen. Niggas be going to the bathroom. All of a sudden, they get an emergency calls. Oh, man, my mom need me. I'm out of here. Niggas be quiet, sitting down, hoping that sister prophet, minister, evangelist ain't walking past on the church pews. Then she don't call you. You don't make eye contact. You just stay still. Hallelujah. Praise God. Hallelujah. You just got down. You just got done doing something you ain't supposed to do. You start asking for forgiveness, right? Lord, if you let me get out of this. Lord, if I pray forgiveness on myself. Please, Lord, forgive me for everything that I did. I'm going to be a good boy going forward. They could be like looking everywhere except for the service. Don't bring no heat on yourself. Don't bring no heat on yourself. I'm getting something. Left pew, one back. See, they don't even say your name sometimes. Left pew, second to the right. Second to the right. They had their eyes closed. I'm getting something. Left pew, second to the right. First from the back, all the way to the left. Oh, you suck all the dick. You suck dick. You take the whole load. I am not lying. Bro, on everything. It is a real thing. Second from the left. You slept with Sister Minister's husband, and he skeeted in you, and you liked it, and you can't wait to go back next week. Oh, over there. And they be like, niggas be getting called out in church. Oh, people hated going to church. Or they knew a certain evangelist was going to be in town. Ain't nobody going to church that week. Ain't nobody going. People be missing in action. Oh, I got to work overtime today. Dog, they ain't worked overtime in your plant in about 6 months, but they working overtime today. Niggas be out of there. Niggas be out of there. It's real. It's real. It's real. Them prophets in church. Oh, niggas couldn't wait till Sister Mabel died. Sister Mabel held on for like an extra 17 years. And every time she let the Spirit of the Lord come on her, she started telling everybody business. Sister Mabel. What was you doing? You had 2 guys laid up with you, one after the other. What's this? And then they don't just say that. They say their names, everything. Am I lying? Well, some of y'all didn't seen them churches. Some of y'all didn't seen them churches. They don't mess around. Oh, the Holy Spirit absolutely will say that. Oh, yes, it would. Oh, yeah. It absolutely would say that. 100%. Wake up. Go to one of them churches. They still exist. They still around. I guarantee you they still around. It's a small church that got an anointing on it like you wouldn't believe. It don't get no traction. It's not on the video. They not live streaming. It's a small church in some hood somewhere. That's a real thing. That's the real deal. And they 100% are accurate. It's a real. And they not messing around. They not messing around. They shout, they praise, and then they get prophesied on, and niggas be scared. Scared out of their mind. Oh, it's a real thing. I guarantee you. I promise you it's a real thing. I'll put everything on. I'll put my life on it. It's a real thing. 100%. Think it ain't true. Go in there and see what happened. Change your life around the next day.
Very patiently standing by, Border Czar Tom Homan's been with us. And Tom, I know you're not talking about what the president talked about, but there was so much news today. Violence on the left coming this time against Border Patrol and ICE agents over the last few days. Your reaction to what we've seen, it's inevitable in my view, but your reaction tonight to what could have been a lot worse.
I've been warning about this for 2 months. I think the last time I did your show, Laura, we talked about it. I also talked about it in the Hannity show that I've been around a long time. I said if the rhetoric didn't decrease significantly, it's going to end up with loss of life. It's going to end up with a use of force either against a protester turning criminal or against ICE or Border Patrol agent. Someone's going to be seriously injured if not killed. And of course, the media attacked me. Fearmonger Homan. He's threatening that someone's going to die. Look, I've been around a long time. You got members of Congress, Jayapal, comparing them to terrorists. AOC says we're out there violating people's civil and constitutional rights. You got Jeffries out there running his mouth about the Gestapo. And it just the ramped up rhetoric is going to cause a situation where someone loses their life. We saw that today. I was hoping I'd be wrong, but I wasn't. And I'll tell you something else. It's not the end. Unless we stop the hateful rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol, comparing them to Nazis, there's going to be more situations like that. ICE has already stepped up enforcement posture at their facilities. Border Patrol's done the same thing. But the rhetoric has to stop. They're simply enforcing law that Congress enacted. So for Congress to attack them, to enforce the laws they wrote, it's ridiculous. And it's going to end in bloodshed. And I think there will be more bloodshed.
Do we know anything about the maniac who ambushed the Border Patrol agents yet? Tom?
You spend a lot of time on Call of Duty, a video game, and one of the people that's in that game is an anarchist. He was playing the anarchist. What he had spray painted on his paint on his car was associated with that. So this is a plan he had. His plan was to kill Border Patrol agents.
That's crazy. Y'all niggas over there playing Call of Duty and getting inspired, and now y'all out here trying to kill Border Patrol agents? I'm telling you, if one of these officers fall, not injured, fall, it's going to be hell to pay. Again, I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me see something. Which one we on? Is this 3, 4? Oh, we got a hell of a show lined up for y'all. I ain't even getting started yet. I hope y'all strapped in. Let me see something real quick. Gotta double check something. I just gotta double check something real quick. Before we move over to the next thing. Yo, X is sending me a bag for my posts and stuff. Shout out to X. I want to also shout out to Kieran Goldsmith. Shout out to you. Jane Wade on PayPal. I appreciate you. Jennifer Nagel says, hi, Anton. Thank you for always speaking the truth. Jean Burden. I appreciate you. And I also want to make sure that I shout out my girl, R Streets. Shout out to all of y'all that hold me down. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock out with me. All right, y'all. Let's move over to the next part of the show. Musk. We got to go over to Elon Musk. All right. So Elon Musk is serious about creating a new political party. So what I want to do on this segment is I want to move over to the left a little bit. All right. I want to move over to the left. I want to actually get the perspective of the left on this because the left were one of the ones that actually protested against Elon Musk the most. All right. And they were the ones that actually didn't like the relationship between Trump and Elon Musk. And so I want to go into this from their lens, and that Elon Musk recently said that he was serious about starting a new political party and that he would really start to ramp up things around the midterms.
New fallout in the very public feud between Elon Musk and President Trump. The tech billionaire is now making good on his threat to start a new political party after Trump's massive spending bill becomes law. Trump announced his America Party over the weekend, writing in part, Musk announced his America Party, writing in part, when it comes to bankrupting our country with waste, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Trump lashed out on Truth Social, accusing his ex-bestie of going, quote, completely off the rails and becoming a, quote, train wreck. Musk hit back by writing, what's Truth Social? So things have turned bad again for these two yet again. How worried are you about an Elon Musk political party?
Well, you know, Abby, I think it'd be easier for Elon Musk to figure out how to get to Mars than it would be to start a new political party. It's the ballot rules in states are very complicated. This is yet another issue that's decided at the states. Whether your party can be on the ballot is subject to 50 different state laws. They're very complicated. In some places, they're dependent on what you did in the previous election, running as an independent, to get on the ballot for a future race. To be a viable party, you'd have to run for all offices. You'd have to run candidates for Congress, for Senate, for governor. And Elon Musk has a lot of money. He's devoted a lot of money to politics. But if he starts a political party, there is a limit to what he can put in under federal election rules to that political party. So this is a very big undertaking, and I think he's probably blowing off steam.
Well, I am old enough to remember No Labels. Yeah. Do we not remember No Labels? And they did successfully get on quite a lot of ballots. Yes. And they did so largely because they had secret donors bankrolling the whole thing. It does take a ton of money, and he just has that. So, I mean, I would say this is not nothing, right?
No. Well, I think there's two different things we're talking about. We're talking about midterms and we're talking about presidentials. So No Labels was the presidential race, and so they were able to get on ballots. And the fear was really on the Democratic side that would split the party. So if this was 2028, I think you would be more concerned. I do think, though, the amount of money that Elon Musk has that just can throw around, that is not just like backing a candidate, that can just be disruptive. And it seems like elections are so close in these days that 1 point could be a determining factor, and he has enough money to shave off 1 point. So I wouldn't just totally poo-poo it. I don't think that, as Deborah Cox says, how did we get here? Like, I think the breakup is final. I don't think they're coming back together.
No reconciliation.
I really don't. I don't think that they're going to be able to get beyond this. And I think it could play a part, not up and down the ballot, but in some key targeted, just to get under Trump's skin.
I think that Elon Musk his ego is big enough and he's petty enough to actually want to see this through. You got to remember, bro, listen, man, I don't really know if people realize how big this guy's net worth is. Elon Musk is probably, because see, people only go by his net worth based off of what it is that they look at from Tesla. Elon Musk, if I look it up right now, let me look it up. Let me see. Net worth. They're saying that Elon Musk has a net worth of roughly, even at the prices that Tesla is at now, that his equity is that of about $402 billion. That's what they're saying. Based off of how many shares, which is public information, based off of how many shares that he has, and based off of the valuation of those shares, and it's going to continue to go up. When that Tesla bot gets released, he's already released. He did a commercial on robo-taxis. People are already getting their cars delivered without a person in it. You could say whatever you want to say. Sequist says Elon is cooked either way. I don't know how you can say Elon is cooked when you're worth $400 billion, right? Now, here's the key about Elon Musk's net worth. I think that is more closer to $1 trillion. That is what his net worth is based off of the valuation and his shares in Tesla. You're not talking about Starlink. You're not talking about SpaceX. You're not talking about the valuation of Neuralink. I believe that Elon Musk's net worth is much more closer because none of those are publicly held or publicly traded companies, right? You're talking about Neuralink, you're talking about Starlink, you're talking about SpaceX, which all of their proprietary technology is now intersecting with each other. Starlink is basically the brainchild and the internet connection that is very much used across the world, not just in the United States of America, used across the world. And it was developed based off of technology from SpaceX. SpaceX, listen, when you got this type of money, money is not even money no more. It's not even about, like, what the fuck, what you want him to do? You want him to buy something? What is it that he can buy? He don't care about cars. He only cares about winning. He only cares about continuing to change the face of the earth. He only cares about what you think that, like, people like this, they start to really want to shape things. They want to change transportation options. They really want it, right? So now you saying, okay, well, it's probably nothing for him to spend $5 billion when his net worth continues to grow. And he don't want a sports team. He wants to start a new political party. $5 billion is literally nothing. It's pennies to him. Pennies to him. And his future net worth is probably going to be 10 times this. So if you're telling me that he don't have the ability to make some waves now, I do think that the political process here in the United States of America is a little bit different because it is a two-party system and it is a one-party system when it comes to the federal deficit continuing to go up. So he's right about that. He's 100% right. But here's the thing. Political parties, even with somebody of Elon Musk, but I do think that he's still going to be throwing money around just because he can. The dude was giving away $1 million paychecks randomly to people that voted for Trump. They estimate that he spent $250 million on Trump's campaign. I don't think that he gives a F. I don't think that he cares. I don't think that he cares. Honestly, I don't really think he cares. He has some power. He just doesn't have the type of power that Trump has. He has some power. It's not that he doesn't have no power. He has a lot of power. He just doesn't have the type of power that Trump has. So again, I think that he can make some waves. I think that he can influence some elections. I think that he could start to grow a party. And you got to be careful of people like that, because once they got their mind made up, I don't think that they put a number on how much they want to spend, because it's more or less tied to whether or not they really believe in what they believe in.
I mean, Trump later, he also sent another Truth Social saying, talking about Elon's friend who he wanted to run at NASA. He said he thought his friend was very good. I was surprised to learn he was a blue-blooded Democrat who had never contributed to a Republican. He said, I also thought it was inappropriate that a very close friend of Elon who was in the space business will run NASA when NASA is such a big part of Elon's corporate life, which is funny because people had asked Trump about this very thing several months ago, and he was like, no, not a problem. Don't worry about it.
I was at Kennedy Space Center last week, and I saw one of Elon's rockets get shot in space, and I was like, it was very cool, by the way. I highly recommend seeing it. And 3 days later, this guy's announcing a new political party, and I'm like, dude, why don't you just stick with what you're good at? Like, I just saw that on Tuesday. Like, stick
again,
with what you're...
sort of like Trump, because I remember, we would always
because
talk about
nobody cares. Listen. He's conquered that. He's conquered this. He's conquered that. He's conquered this. One of my goals, you know what one of my goals are? My goals is to take over a city and to shape it in the way that I want it to be, and to have complete power and control over the political process of the cities that's close to me where I live at. And it's, through real estate, through investments and all of that stuff. And it's not because, I could just do this and make millions of dollars a year, or I could just do real estate and make millions of dollars a year. But you just be like, you know what? This is important to me, or this is something meaningful when you start to take on different things. Why does George Soros influence political elections? Why is Bill Gates trying to change the way that we farm and food and water and all of this other type of stuff? Why? Why not just stick with computers and Microsoft? Because people have, and what we are as human beings, especially as men, is we are conquerors. And so we shape the world, or our city, or our state, or our homes, or whatever it is that we're involved in. We shape it in our image. That is the nature of who we are. We are just like many gods. We're just like many gods. That's all we are. We are just like it, and we do things that according to what we want to do. And when we don't like it anymore, we move on to the next thing. I'm working on it, Rox. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, big dog. Don't worry about it. That's my first target. It's my first target. So I do think that he can make some waves.
And Republicans will be like, yeah, let's put Elon in charge of flying planes. Like, let's put Elon in charge of every part of the federal government. And now all of a sudden,
he's crazy.
Carl Foster says Tesla failed, down 8% because Doge and the whole thing. Let's look at it. Since associating himself with Trump, Tesla is up 19%. Year to date is down, but 1 year, it looks like it's up total 18.88%. So if you want to go back to, let's just say, summer 2024, and you want to go all the way back to that time, right? Then you can say that that's not necessarily true, right? Because if you want to actually go and look at the charts, since the times that he actually associated himself with Trump, Tesla is still up 18% over 1 year. So all you got to do is look at the charts, bro. All you got to do is look at it and study it and see exactly what they're up over the past year. Over the past year, Tesla's up 19%. So when people tell me stuff, I don't necessarily go by what they say. I go by the charts. I look at the actual charts. I don't go by talking points. I don't go by liberal talking points. I don't go by Democrats. I don't go by any of that. I look at the charts, and then I look at the upside. Well, I'm not going to deep dive into all of that type of stuff. I know what the 5-year is. The 5-year is 191%. So anybody could say whatever they want to say, but the numbers is different.
Well, I do think he has gone a little off the rails. I don't think there's any doubt, given his tweet storm or X storm or whatever you want to call it, that he's done. But me as a Republican, I'm not worried. I mean, if you look at the Republican Party, they're more unified than they've been in decades right now. So if you're a Republican, it's not something I'm overly concerned about. If he wants to go off and do it, I'm sure there are plenty of political grifters that will love to sign on and make a ton of money off of that. They're telling him he's a genius right now for doing it, so they can make a ton of money. If he wants to go do it,
I mean, you're not wrong. Our friend Harry Anton pulled this number for us. 4% of all voters, this is Elon's potential base, they like Elon, but they don't like the Republican Party. That's, just for the record, that's a very small number.
Look at the,
it's not
the
a lot
fight
of
he had with the president. We know who won that fight. It was very clear. The president came out on top.
Some years ago, a Texan named Ross Perot decided to start his own party.
Third did very well.
Yeah, did well.
18%.
18%. So, look, third parties, the history of third parties on the modern politics, it's difficult to go in. Either you're a Democrat or Republican. He does have a lot of money. Question is, where will those voters that go with that party go? When races are tight, 1 or 2% can make a big difference. And
yeah, I think that Elon Musk should have some impact on the political process, especially when you talk about locally or in the Senate and stuff like that. But I don't think that he's going to replace the two-party system, the Democrats and the Republicans that we have today. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel with turn on notifications. Let me read one of these a super chat, and then we can move over to the next part of the show. Bob says, Elon got board members. Yeah, he does, but they support him. They are 100% in his favor. So Ross Perot was awesome. I loved Ross Perot. I think that Ross Perot should have actually been president of the United States of America, but that's just me. Let's move over into some more interesting conversations. An officer was found dead, but he was the one that supplied the drugs to the killers to sell in the community. We're going to spend 10 minutes on this. Look at this. Now, what do you see? Pictures are worth 1,000 words, and I think that the way that we communicate should not just be based off of what we say, but what we see. We have senses, hear, smell, touch. We have all of these senses for a reason. What I see is, well, I'm a reserve what I see. I'm a reserve what I see. As far as the conclusion of what I see. High Tolerance says, you see bottom boys? Oh, man. Y'all said they be acting tough in the streets, but they want to be submissive in the sheets. They said that they act tough in the streets, but they submissive in the sheets. I heard that before. I heard a woman on TikTok that I was going to review the video for. Let me see if I can find that video. She said, and she was complaining about the fact that she was, the fact that she had dated a guy that was on a DL. What was this video? Let me see. You know why I like streaming now without a job is because I don't really have a time limit on me. I could talk for as long as I want to talk. Is this it? That's not it. This is it.
Back in 2023, happy birthday to him. And I want to tell this story because I know there's. Let
me see.
So I dated a DL man in Houston back in 2023. Happy Pride to him. And I want to tell this story because I know there's a lot of women in Houston that are just so confused as to why dating is so hard out here. It's because these niggas are gay.
All right. I'm going to save that one. Maybe I'll have that as a conversation on After Hours or something. I think I'm going to do a review video today. I've skipped over that video for whatever reason, but I might do a review video of that. But I heard that when they, honestly, this is what a lot of women are saying. They are saying they got a feminine spirit in them, Molly. This is what I heard. I heard that when you have blonde tip dreads, that sometimes, more often than not, that those are the ones that's the bottom boys. And I'm not saying that that's true. I'm telling you that that is what these women are now saying on social media. And again, I don't believe that. I'm not going for that. I don't believe none of that. I think that a lot of these women may deal with one guy or two guys that got some blonde tip dreads, and then all of a sudden they want to label everybody with dreads as sassy. I'm not believing that at all. I'm not believing that. Clayton, you said there's some fairies? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Let's see what happened.
Evening. Thank you for joining us. A day after the stabbing death of a St. Gabriel police captain, the investigative unit uncovered a bombshell about what led to the killing.
The Iberville Parish Sheriff's Office confirms Captain Devin Boutte and the suspect Warren Mitchell were in a relationship that spun out of control for both of them. Best casualty with what she uncovered.
Michael, Sylvia, this explosive information comes from the sheriff's office, where investigators told me Boutte and Mitchell were already on their radar after several tips. On Sunday, news of 34-year-old police captain Devin Boutte's potential murder rocked the small community of St. Gabriel.
Devin was in love with the police department and the city of St. Gabriel. He loved this community, and they loved him.
Boutte's chief, Kevin Ambo, was the first person to find his body.
Hopefully I'll never have to witness something like that again.
He tells us it was Boutte's boyfriend, Warren Mitchell III, who alerted him.
Yeah, that's definitely some sass in that ass. Oh, yeah. Let me see.
He tells us it was Boutte's boyfriend, Warren Mitchell III.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. That is it. Yep. That's it. 100%. Oh, don't tell me y'all getting into a lover's quarrel and y'all that men are now getting into lover's quarrels. You need a break, Molly? You don't need no break. You don't need no break. Don't tell me you getting into a lover's quarrel. You getting into a lover's quarrel with your boyfriend and you a boyfriend? No, that can't happen, bro.
Who alerted him?
I was notified by the sailor, sent an officer out. I came out and checked myself, and I ended up finding
That's messed up.
Succumbed to his injuries.
Mitchell confessed over the phone. The sheriff's office says Boutte was ambushed here in his home while he was sleeping. Mitchell allegedly stabbed him twice, once in the front and in the back. And investigators
Not the front and the back.
that kitchen knife still inside Boutte when they arrived. What they also recovered inside the home that the police captain and Mitchell had been sharing, drugs. According to the sheriff's office, Boutte had been providing Mitchell with weed and meth to sell and use.
Seems to be that Boutte lost.
Oh, Lord, this is supposed to be a serious conversation. Why do they keep saying that, bro? Why do they keep saying that? Why do they keep saying his name like that? That's not right. That's not right. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it at all. Why do they keep saying his name like that? That Boutte. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. But he was a crooked cop. He was a crooked. Let me see.
Boutte had been providing Mitchell with weed and meth to sell and use.
Seems to be that Boutte.
What? Dog, I think that all of these people are doing this on purpose. They could say they could say the officer, the fallen officer, the man that was killed, all of this stuff. They could say all of that type of stuff. But they keep saying it with emphasis. Boutte. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it at all. Oh my God.
Lost his direction through the relationship with this man. It clouded his judgment.
Sheriff Brett Stassi says he had gotten a tip about this weeks ago.
And that would be our jurisdiction.
And actually asked the Attorney General's office to investigate Boutte just 10 days before he was killed.
There's nothing that you can compare this crime to any other that I can remember in recent years.
The suspect, 25-year-old Warren Mitchell III, has a lengthy criminal.
That's somebody's boyfriend right there. I don't think he tripping though. I don't think he tripping. He gonna be cool. He was ready to go to jail. He was probably tired. He got a boyfriend in there. They say he got a lengthy criminal history. I don't think he tripping. I don't think he tripping. I think that he is comfortable. Listen, he got his dreads twisted. He right at home. He chilling. He right at home. I believe that certain guys that intentionally commit crimes and is willing to confess over the phone, I believe that they trying to go see their other boyfriend.
Past.
Drugs, robbery, even some indecent behavior with back when he was a juvenile.
And was even a suspect in a murder in Texas in 2021. In fact, he was out on bond for a robbery he allegedly committed last month when the stabbing happened.
We've talked to the people in the community.
Stassi says that robbery was a key point in the pair's increasingly toxic relationship.
He thought that he was trapped in this relationship and this was the only way out. He had attempted a couple times prior to get out of this relationship, and he couldn't seem to get away.
What the fuck is going on? So wait a minute. You so that entrenched with a man that you can't leave him behind. That's some stuff that women say. Women say, I can't leave him. Oh my God, this is such a, but it's so good. I love him. That's the stuff that women say. Men don't say that. Men don't say that they can't get out of a relationship. I attempted to leave, but I couldn't get out. This is wild. And then the officer is supplying the other guy with the drugs in order to sell. Jesus, Lord have mercy.
Meaning what exactly?
A few weeks ago, he did a robbery at a store, knowing that he would be arrested and brought to jail. And that in fact happened. He posted a $27,000 bond, and Captain Booty went to the store and tried to repay the money and asked that they would come forward to drop charges.
Despite the term not being used officially, the situation between Booty and Mitchell has all the red flags of domestic violence.
He used some coercion and to keep pressure on him that I went and paid the money back. I got you out of the mill place. I did this. Just some control tactics that he used to kind of control him.
Despite Stassi wanting them to hold Mitchell without bond, Judge Elizabeth Ingolio set it at $500,000 this afternoon.
When you go down this dark path, there is no end to it, and it could cost you. I'm trying to be serious about this. It could cost you your life. When you go down these dark paths, it could cost you your life. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I got to change the color in here. Y'all want to go pink? What y'all want to go? What color y'all? Go hot pink, pink purple, pink purple. There we go. All right, we in our feminine energy now. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. High Tolerance says if Elon follows through with this new party, lefties will pivot so fast to spite their face. Not long ago, he was seen as a racist dictator. Well, you know people are going to switch up. They call me Mr. Bibbs says I knew Molly was going to say something. Cartier82 says the only successful female mayor I can think of is Marcia Fudge of Warrensville Heights, Ohio. She started the momentum of growth for Ohio's only thriving black suburb. She's infamously known as Marcia Fudge for the Marcia Fudge meme. I've never heard of her before. I'm gonna have to research her. Brian the filmmaker says, of course he's a bottom. You can hear it in his last name. Oh my God. Anton, what do you think? What do you think he stabbed him with? They said he stabbed. Y'all so messy. Whiskey Pierre says, Anton, sir, shalom. I could not keep my silence. Did she say Buta was ambushed? Yes, she did. Says Booty was ambushed. Y'all a mess. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. What we talking about right now? Oh yeah, I had to talk about this because I did a review video on it yesterday, and I was just so surprised that it bothered me. It perplexed me, and I was just trying to figure out what is going on and whose side am I on right now. I heard that Sonny Hostin was defending Diddy. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I said, what is going on? Is the world upside down? Megyn Kelly is completely dissing Diddy and going off and having a meltdown. And Sonny Hostin is being logical and having a conversation about Diddy and whether or not the judge should release him or not. Y'all got to see this in its entirety. So I don't want to play the whole thing, but y'all sent this to me yesterday and I said, what in the hell is going on right now?
Yes, I think so. I think I think the country is ripe for more options. We're actually one of very few constantly demonizing each other. So I like Mark Cuban. I think he's interesting. I think someone like Jamie Dimon, somebody with an entrepreneurial view, could be very interesting because I think
there we go.
Of 2 prostitution charges. And he faces up to 20 years in prison and denies all allegations. Now, many people seem to be surprised by this, but I know you were not surprised, Sonny, because you said they're never going to be able to convict him on the racketeering.
On the racketeering. No, I was in the courtroom very, very often for it. And I've tried RICO cases, and RICO was really meant for the mafia, you know, where the organized criminal enterprise is very clear.
Right.
This was not very clear. Yes, he ran Bad Boy Records, and he had employees that kind of cleaned up hotel rooms and booked transportation, but they never really made it clear that
they couldn't even get Al Capone on it.
No, and it's a very, very difficult statute to work with. The other thing is, in terms of sex trafficking, you know, people have a difficult time in understanding when someone is being sex trafficked.
Explain why it's hard for people.
It's hard for people because there was a long relationship with one of the victims. So we're talking about a 11-year relationship where someone is not saying no. Never saying no, and actually actively agreeing to it and saying, I really want to do this with you.
And I agree. And I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying it for a long time that Cassie was a participant. Again, let me say it again for the people in the back. Cassie was a willing participant in what they were doing over at Bad Boy Records and the Bad Boy's house and Bad Boy Diddy Oil, whatever. And so when people sitting there saying, oh man, I can't believe it. Oh man, I can't believe he got off. Nobody is saying that Diddy is a good person. Nobody is saying that Puff didn't commit some form of domestic violence. Nobody is saying that he's not a freak. But the reality is that she's 100% right. They cannot prove a RICO that was created in order for them to take down a mafia. He was not involved in some kind of criminal organization for profit and using those profits to then do more criminal organizational stuff. He was just a nasty dude that had a lot of money that was getting to the bag. That's just the reality. And so she was the Bonnie to his Clyde. She was 100% a participant. She was involved. She often would make the phone calls. There was a guy, shout out to MTR, because I would have never had this on my radar had MTR not actually had this conversation and actually dropped the video. There is a guy that is basically saying that he was Cassie's guy, right? That he was something involved in Cassie. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. How do I get this off my... Oh, there we go.
Okay, hey, good morning. As you can see, I'm about to do my morning run. So this is just...
Yeah, this is him.
And I want to say a warning to everyone.
I mean, let me pull this up. Let me see if I can get this up here real quick. Oh, he was on Tasha K too, and I don't know how true this is. So I decided that I didn't really want to do a whole review video on it or anything like that. But he's saying that Cassie is way worse than a lot of people are even projecting that she is. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, and he's suing her. Okay, so let me see. Let me see what's going on. Because I'm not gonna do a review video to it, but I definitely want to add this into it because a lot of people were sitting there telling me about how innocent that she
A
is.
man who has just sued Cassandra Ventura for damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed, guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of 8 years to continue to be this woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. Now, at the time, legally, I didn't know my rights as well as I do now. I didn't create this conflict with Cassandra Ventura. She created it with me. She's the one who decided to bring up things that happened over 10 to 15 years ago to hold Sean Combs accountable for what was a partial truth. She's the person who introduced me to the U.S. Attorney's Office. She's the person who told the U.S. Attorney's Office about our relationship. So in essence, those out there who want to hate on me, who want to say that I'm attacking Cassie, you should realize the truth, that Cassandra Ventura, your idol, did this to herself. She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping. That overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter. People, she tells you.
My bad. I'm looking at Dog right now, right? I'm looking at him right now, and I'm not sure if it's true or if it's false. But what I do know is this. Is that if any of it is true, number one, I'm going to make a couple points, and then we're going to go back to Sonny Hostin. The first thing is, if any of it is true, then we have to start bringing her back to the front of the congregation, and we have to have a conversation about the fact that she is a demon. Listen, if any of this is true, we have to have a conversation about this fact being a certified demon. That just is what it is. I don't know if it's true. He's alleging it. He's talking pretty confidently about it. Cool. The second thing that I want to take into consideration is Dog got some white around his lips. And as he recorded this video on his phone, and then he re-reviewed this video after he got done talking, he still had that white on his lips and he still wanted to upload it. So, secondly, if it is true that this is a thing, then that means that you guys need to get some more confidence. You guys need to get some more confidence. Niggas' lips be purple, white around the lips, stuff falling out of it and all of this stuff. And they be busting down some of these dudes, women, and they be busting down these chicks, and it don't be no kind of problems whatsoever. If this is true, all y'all need is a little bit of confidence, bro. I'm trying to tell you. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this on After Hours. I got this on the docket. I got it on the docket. I think that y'all just lacking confidence. Y'all need to get y'all clothes together. Y'all just, because it ain't the clothes for the women. You need the clothes for yourself so that you can have more confidence. You need to move a little differently and all of that junk, bro. If dude is saying that she requested for him to be on the payroll for 8 years, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, dog. All y'all need to do is get some confidence, bro. Real talk. And that's why another thing, y'all need to stop pedestalizing these women. Y'all pedestalizing them and making them, oh no, they're the greatest of all time. Some nigga with crusty lips and white stuff coming out their mouth is busting her down for a real one. Yes, she will. Some dude with crusty lips and a do-rag on got the one that you pedestalizing so much. And y'all think that all of these chicks only talk to Idris Elba and who else? Who else? And Jason Momoa? Y'all think they only talk to Idris Elba and Jason Momoa? Nope. Crusty Lips is tearing that out the frame. Tearing that out the frame. Oh no, you only gotta have high standards. Nigga, no, you don't. No, you don't. You just gotta have big D energy. That's all you gotta have, bro. All you gotta have is big D energy. He's telling you right now, if it be true. I don't know how true it is, but why, it is what it is. We believed all women. Why won't we believe him too? Yeah, he probably got on black Air Forces 100%.
And I think with 8 men on the jury and 4 women, what man is going to find him guilty of that without and understand that no is no, yes is yes, and sort of the blurred lines between that?
And the victim psychology of how people are victimized, made small, and how it's not a clarity of mind always.
Yeah, it's a power dynamic, and I don't think the government did a good job of explaining domestic violence and how no. Yes can mean no. They just didn't have it. And the Mann Act, honestly, which is the transportation for someone for prostitution, it was a slam dunk. It was a slam dunk. You've got American Express receipts. You've got prostitutes that are male escorts that are saying, yes, I flew from here to have sex with someone. That's a given, but 20 years in prison. We didn't even prosecute Governor Spitzer for that very same thing. It's generally not used. That is something that the prosecution threw in so that they could get a conviction. And I will say, having been a federal prosecutor, I am a little dismayed by the fact that the judge kept Sean Combs in prison.
Now, why?
He said that because there was proof of domestic violence, that he was, that society couldn't be protected from him. And I think that's the wrong thing.
No, I know with all his money, that's surprising.
It's not a flight risk because all you have to do is you have to sort of figure out how to keep that person here in the United States. You take away the person's passport, very, very hefty bond. You also take away his plane.
Can I just mention,
Yo, I'm not even gonna lie. Sunny Hostin was in her bag right now. She was. I have to be objective. I know that we don't like the lunch ladies on The View. I know that we have disagreed with them in the past, but we have to be able to remove our bias against whether or not they're right or wrong on other issues. And they've been wrong 99% of the time, but a clock is right twice a day. And she was absolutely cooking. She was accurate in cooking on her assessment of the whole situation. She was right on her flight assessment, on them keeping him in jail. She is right about the charges and that he should not have been found guilty, that the federal government overcharged in order to get, trying to get a conviction and trying to get him locked up for the rest of his life, that you can't take a domestic violence issue and try to make it a RICO charge, that they targeted him. And listen, you can make any excuses as to why you don't still like her and all of that, and I don't still like her. But again, I am able to remove my bias or how I feel about what somebody said in the past in order to objectively evaluate what they're saying now. And she is 100% right. She is 100. It's a broken clock. Broken clock is right twice a day. Okay, cool. So we there. Broken clock. Whatever it is, whatever the kind of clock it is, Timex, Rolex, whatever. Clock in your mama's house. She is cooking and she's 100% right. She is cooking and she is 100% right. And she is the person that's on the panel that actually got the most knowledge as a former prosecutor and a lawyer. I have to be objective. She cooked. And everybody in the audience is silent. They're quiet as a church mouse. Because most people want Diddy locked up. And I can't believe it. Megyn Kelly crashing out because she want him locked up. Sonny Hostin is saying, nah, he don't deserve to be locked up. What is the world coming to?
Mad at the prosecution over this, just to be honest. I feel like everyone was talking about this over the break. My grandmother-in-law, if you cannot meet the charge, don't, because I think so many of us saw that video of Cassie Ventura just being beaten, and we want some kind of accountability, and there's got to be a harsh...
Everybody keeps saying that she's mad because her husband, or she's only saying that because her husband, whatever. Listen, man, listen. I need men to get out of their feelings, bro. I do. I need men to get out of their feelings. Real talk. Honestly. I am not seeing that her husband is getting charged with RICO. I don't see that. I see fraud for medical practices and possible billing and kickbacks, but that has nothing to do with RICO. And so what I need y'all to do is to make sure that you're not using the talking points of other people, because I see people repeating the same thing that other people said, and that's not even what he's being investigated for, in which he hasn't been charged yet. But I see fraud charges. So RICO has nothing to do with fraud. Fraud is financially related. RICO has everything to do with running a criminal organization, and that has nothing to do with one with the other. So y'all gotta stop saying shit. Listen, you can go and look this stuff up yourself. You don't even have to take my word for it. Her husband is not being charged with RICO. Her husband is being investigated for something else, which has nothing to do with what this case is as far as Diddy and Cassie. Okay? So what she's saying about it is completely unrelated, because it's not tied to anything that the investigation is going into as far as what her husband could be facing. So you guys got to start looking at this. Stop listening to everybody else and just repeating stuff. Stop just saying the same thing over and over again. I've seen about 8 different people, 8 guys. That's because her husband getting charged with the RICO. What the fuck is you talking about? That's not true. Go and do your own. I just looked it up. Go and do your own research. It is not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Objectively speaking, and it says that he's facing a lawsuit. Objectively speaking, again, I hate when people try to attack the person instead of attacking the talking point and debate that. She's right. She's right. And I have to give her flowers, even though I've destroyed her on multiple different live streams. I have to give her flowers, and she's 100% right about this particular issue. So let me give her flowers. I hated to do it, but I have to give her flowers because that is just being objective, and that's just what it is. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. And then make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I want to go over one more thing, but let me read a couple of super chats. Nichelle says, I'm laughing so hard my face hurt. I really don't know how I get through my work days before the Millionaire Morning Show. Thank you. See, we helping people make sure that they do their job effectively. We are a needed force in this universe. Victor Williams says, Molly about to cook during after hours tonight. Carrington Love Jr. says, Anton, the Anton Daniels channel has been putting out some real good content lately, dog. Doing good work. Thank you, Carrington. I appreciate you. Five Brown says, Whoopi be so lost, talking about they couldn't even get Al Capone on it. RICO wasn't created until 1970 and not used until 1985. Al Capone died in 1947. Whoopi Goldberg is a bird brain. I don't even know how she able to get that position. Aaron Miller says, have you heard the new track Free Diddy by King Combs produced by Ye? I don't really rock with Kanye like that. Ye is not really my cup of tea. It's just not really my thing. Ye is different. That's Doggy gave up his rights to his kids, says Wesley Swipes. Is Cassie considered a dirty Diana? Says Abe the Hunter. I don't know. He represented hard for the Pookie and Ray Ray, says Delta Rec. Carrington Love Jr. says, I had a girl that had the same public persona as Cassie. We used to do our own films, and she clean cut just like Sunny Hostin. Girls are liars. Well, one man's trash got to be another man's treasure. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Let's end the show like this. Always like to review a content creator. And so in the same vein of what it is that I reviewed yesterday, I'm going to play a content creator and I want to get y'all perspective on it, okay? So I'm going to let y'all determine whether or not you think this is problematic, you think she's being overdramatic, or you think this is just life and reality and she needs to deal with it. Let's get into it.
I know I look ugly right now, but I don't even care, bro. I don't care. Yo, tell me why I just went to work today and was there probably an hour. They called me.
Before she get into it, first question that I have for you guys is, why do women cut all of their hair off? And I understand the shortcut, the pixie cuts, all of that type of stuff. But why do women go all the way bald almost? If it's not some kind of medical issue or problem or emergency or something like that. Just a question. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just asking a question. Why do women cut all of their hair off? Just a question for the people in the back.
And my lab partner, they said, can you and so-and-so come into the conference room with me? And right then, that moment, I knew we were cooked. Long story short, our positions have been eliminated. The worst part about all of this is I literally started that job because I came from a lab that I got laid off from because the company closed. So I literally have just been here just a little bit over a year. And here I am again, right back in the same freaking position, bro. I can't do this, bro. Like, it took everything in me not to crash out in there on them folks because I am just so angry. I'm so tired. It's like, if it's not one thing, it's another, bro.
I see so many women. Again, I played the one guy that I was able to come across that actually said that he was getting laid off and he maintained frame. He was chilling. He wasn't crying. I see so many women. And trust me, layoffs happen on men and women alike. I don't know a man in his lifetime that has not been laid off at some point in his life. Every single person. Every single woman, they be ready to crash out on them folks. They be crying. They be going off. They be emotional about it. And I thought that y'all was big girls. I thought that y'all was big girls. I thought that y'all had it together, that y'all was the most educated, that everything was going well. And don't get me wrong, I feel sorry for people that have been laid off. I've been laid off before, and it's not a great feeling. But the minute that I got home, I was like, you know what? Let me make some phone calls. Let me get my resume together. I didn't even take the day off. I was back at it. I was trying to figure out how I can go and get some money. I was making sure that I can go and spend more time on my businesses and all of that stuff. I just got right to it. Most guys I know, they don't really even take the day off. They be like, listen, it's time to get it popping. Most guys, not all guys. Kay Cooper says, no, we are emotional. Y'all that emotional like that? that y'all be ready to crash out on the job and stuff. Y'all don't want a good reference. Y'all don't want to make sure that you maintain your relationships. You don't want the possibility of being able to work with that person again, or maybe you don't want to burn no bridges and stuff. Y'all be ready to crash out. Just start crying and burning down the whole place right away.
And on top of that, I'm in the middle of trying to move to, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I've been working in labs in Little Rock since 2021. There are no labs here for real that are paying more than $20 an hour. It took me for 3 months to find this job after I got laid off from my last job. I've worked in 5 different labs at this point. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to apply. I don't know. This is just all so. This is just too much. This is too much. This is too much. This is.
I can go one or two ways with my commentary on this video. First of all, I believe that losing a job and getting laid off is a life event. Absolutely. You feel like things are falling and crumbling sometimes, failing or whatever, so on and so forth. So I'm going to approach it on both ends, right? So I'm going to have this conversation from two different lenses. The first lens is it is a life event, but life is not over, all right? Always look at it as an opportunity for something else that you needed to do, that you needed to get into. Sometimes it's hard to see that because the only thing that you can think of is your income being removed and taken away from you. But I am telling you that it is a life event. And so it's okay to grieve, but at the same time, you got to maintain frame, and you can't do anything that you're going to regret later. That's number one. In addition to that, you also have to make sure that you are preparing yourself for the future. When y'all get these jobs, I don't know how many times that I have to tell y'all, this is not a modern thing. This is a thing in general. Even back in the 70s and the 80s, people had more than one job because they didn't want to depend on one, and then they didn't lose the other one, and then they lose all of their income. You have to have, if you are going to be a working adult, men and women, especially men, you have to have more than one source of income. Hear me. And do not increase your lifestyle based off of multiple sources. Your income should only be based off of, if you have multiple streams of income, one version of income. When I worked a regular job, I would say the times that I've worked a regular, ever since 2010, the regular job, I never ever depended on it. Since I had got laid off and lost everything in 07, 08. I made up in my mind that I would never depend on a job ever again for my income. Now, that didn't mean that I wouldn't work a job, that I wouldn't take a job, that I wouldn't run up a bag, but that I was going to be self-reliant and self-independent in order to make sure that I was straight. That way that anything that I was doing from a work perspective, it was extra. I remember right before I retired the second time, they garnished me again. And I was telling y'all, I said, listen, they garnishing me from 08. They chased me down, and they got all of their money too, and I didn't even care. By the time that I realized that I was getting garnished, it was when they actually had sent the paperwork, because your job, HR or whatever, they'll send the paperwork, the court documents, and they was garnishing me for a Mercury Sable. I had a Mercury Sable. That's how old it is. They don't even use Mercuries no more. I had a burgundy Mercury Sable that they garnished me for, and so they chased me down for that money, and so they wound up getting it. I think it was like $7,000 or whatever like that. And so they wound up getting the money out of my paycheck. By the time I realized it, though, because I never depended on the money just went straight into my brokerage account. By the time I realized it was multiple weeks after they had already started getting the money. And I'm like, oh, well, skip it. Might as well just take it. Go ahead and get it. Go and get that bag. But the point that I'm making is that you got garnished over 15 years later. Oh, some of these people are relentless. And I can't blame them, because I owed the money, and so I didn't complain about it. I just had more than an abundance, so I didn't trip about it. But my point is that I had made up in my mind that I would never depend on one source of income or a job in order for me to do it. Now, some of you may have to get, your bearings together, meaning that if you got a regular job now, and let's say you don't necessarily want to go and get a second job, but maybe you start a business, or maybe you got to hustle. I think that that's a better word to use. Maybe you got to hustle. You having a hustle will exponentially benefit you, because what that's going to allow for you to do is spend way more time growing your hustle, which ultimately can turn into a business, and then it can turn into some kind of monstrous thing that you then is just generating so much revenue to. That's usually what happens. Is hustle to business, business into conglomerate. All right. Hustle to business, business to conglomerate. And so when you have a hustle, it could wind up becoming your main source of income, which then you don't depend on the job. So you have to slow burn it, right? You got to work it. You got to keep working. And you may not be generating a lot of revenue. You may not be getting a lot of money right now. You may not even be making anything, but you got to keep working it that way, that thing that eventually snowballs and goes up. Because you're going to go through ups and downs. You're going to go through layoffs and stuff, but you don't want to be affected. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing that I wanted to say for y'all. That's the one learned lesson. The second thing that I want to say to y'all is specifically to my ladies. Y'all ever get tired and be like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. Like, how long of working or how long of suffering? I'm not talking about women that have jobs because they love what they do, or it's a purpose, or they enjoying it. Usually when a woman back in the day was a teacher, or when she worked at the school or something like that, she did that not because they needed the money. She did it because it was something that she felt like she can do that also paid her, right? That also brought income. So the pay was extra, but they were actually involved in a community. They wanted to, most of the teachers sometimes would even make sure that they teached at the schools that their kids went to and all of that type of stuff. Women were doing stuff that had some kind of substance or purpose. But y'all don't ever be like, I'm exhausted. I don't really want to go out here and compete for resources like that. What compels women to want to be career women? And I'm just curious. What compels women to want to be career women? And again, I'm not talking about women that you may be even making a significant amount of money, but it doesn't mean that that's what you set out to do, or it's not purposeful. But women that got to come out and hustle like me, I love hustling. So I don't look at hard work as problematic, because I'm a man. And so men love working sometimes, or men love grinding and getting it and becoming purposeful and building things and making a lot of money. That's just the nature of who we are. When you as a woman, you know, when y'all set out and y'all say, you know what, this is what my life is like or whatever, y'all don't ever be getting tired and be like, oh man, my back hurt, or I'm tired. I just want to go and lay down. I'm tired of, when y'all wake up in the morning and you got to get up on an alarm and it's not to take the kids to school or something like that, do y'all be like aggravated? Does it make your menstrual flow harder or something like that? That's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I had this one girl, we were talking and we were having a conversation from a career perspective. And they were like, man, my friends, keep telling me to go into the private sector, and, I can make way more money in doing this. Now, keep in mind, she loves what she does, loves working for the organization that she works for, and she makes a decent amount of money. She does okay. She lives within her means. She's, you know what I'm saying, and all of that stuff. And she don't have to have no stress. She's one of the few people that I know that still work from home. Don't ever got to go into the office, occasionally slip in. The whole organization love them. They've been there for a long time, and the organization is very, very large and stable to where they will never probably ever be displaced, and she still has upward mobility if she ever wants to, but she just chilling. And she like, yeah, my homegirls keep telling me that I should go into the private sector and nothing. And then they said, so what do you think that I should do? And I said, if you don't sit your black ass down and stop trying to be like these women, I said, show me the pictures of them. So she sent me the pictures. I said, she fat, she tired, she broken, and she alone, and she a single mother. She ain't got no edges because she's stressed the hell out. That one, what's that one going on? She said that she worried about getting laid off. No, see? I said, sit down. Sit down. Learn how to manage what you have more effectively and move accordingly. Ain't you happy? Don't you get up when you want to? Don't you do it in this and then? Don't the organization? Yeah, what you doing? What is you doing? Why is you out here? None of that. Listen, you're not even going to have a difference in lifestyle based off of what it is that you're chasing. And you don't even want to do that. I said, it is cutthroat and net. I said, you found the perfect spot. You better sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Run your own race based off of what you want to do. And that ain't even your goal. You don't even want to work that hard. You want to be out there going into work every day, trying to compete and doing this and all of this stuff. No, I ain't really trying to do that. So what the fuck you listening to them heifers for? They ain't even happy. Every last one of them chicks don't look happy. Are they happy? No, they not really happy like that. Oh, so why you trying to jump in the same race as them? Telling you, man, women be giving bad advice to other women, and so y'all got to be careful who y'all subject yourself to and surround yourself with. Real talk. They be trying to have y'all looking dumb, stupid, assed out, and broken, and getting laid off because you took a chance. You should have just rocked with the thing that you're rocking with. Are you happy? Yes. So what is you doing? What you doing? Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. And Forrester said, women are stupid as fuck. And he quoted Quentin. Let me get her off. So best of luck to her. I hope that she does well. But I just had a couple questions that I wanted to have a conversation about. And I was curious. I was looking at y'all, seeing what y'all was saying inside of the chat. Brock says, I'm currently working at a job that laid me off years ago. I found another job almost immediately. A year later, they offered me more to come back. That's the play. That's the play right there. That is the play. All right, y'all. So that is the end of the show. But I do have a question for everybody in the chat. Let me get it off this pink. Let me get off that pink. Let me go to orange. I like orange. Orange, I've been feeling orange a lot lately. Not red, orange. So my live streams have lately, unless I be having something to do, like when I had to go and do my test for the doctor and stuff like that, my live streams lately, I have increased it to close to 3 hours. And I take my time and I cook and I have a good time and we laugh and we play and all. We do all of that stuff, bro. Do y'all like the live streams being longer? Because what I've learned as a UX professional, working in corporate America, is the best way to gauge whether or not you're going in the right direction or you're doing the shows or you're doing whatever it is that you need to do. The best way is to actually talk to the people that experience it. Y'all are on the receiving end of this live stream. And so what I'm asking y'all is, do y'all prefer the longer live streams where I live stream somewhere between 2.5 to 3 hours? Or do you want me to pull it back a little bit to where it goes back to closer to 2 hours? Because I was only doing 2-hour live streams, like close to 2 hours, sometimes 1 hour, 45 minutes. Y'all prefer the 3? C Dig says 2 hours are best. Brandy said 3. Everybody is saying 3. People are saying to get it to work. Yes, new sub here. It was interesting. So put 2 or 3 inside of the chat. Either put 2 for 2 hours or 3 inside of the chat. And that way I know exactly what y'all thinking. Two or 3. Everybody is saying 3 or 2 to 3 hours. All right, I see all of the 3s. All right, I got y'all. All right, so we on the right track. So I'm going to keep it funky. I'm going to keep it making sure that I give you all the content that y'all want. And if anybody has any suggestions, because I'm not hard-headed, I'm not stubborn, I'm not any of that. If anybody has any suggestions, feel free to email me. As a matter of fact, go to my website, antondaniels.com. and go to my website and fill out anything that you would like to see, or if anything that you don't necessarily care for, I'm open to it. If you say Anton cuss too much, let me know. I'm not saying that I'm going to change it definitively, but what I am saying is I like the feedback because it helps me to understand what you guys like to see and what you like to hear. If it's any specific type of content that you want me to cover that I'm not covering on the Millionaire Morning Show, if you don't like the time and you want me to adjust the time, or you think that the time is perfect, let me know all of that. Let me know all of that. I will say one of the reasons why I am streaming later. So lately I've been doing it starting it at 11:30 is for two reasons. 11:30 Eastern is usually when I've been doing my streams on the Millionaire Morning Show. First reason is because y'all said that y'all want me to accommodate Mountain Time in the West Coast. So the people on the West Coast, they catching it at 8:30 a.m. and that way we covering everybody that's at work. So that's number one. The second reason why is because it allows for me to be able to sleep without an alarm. And so one of the things that I'm focusing on is health, physical health, mental health, all of that. And so I have no need. I've noticed that with me not sleeping with an alarm, that it allows for me to actually feel productive throughout the entire day. And not just, I would usually have to take a nap and all of that, and I'd be feeling tired by the time 5, 6 o'clock hit. So I can, after my live streams late night, I can go to sleep. I can get a full 8 hours, and I can still move around and still get up, and then I can live stream with y'all for 3 hours. So I make sure I sleep 8 hours a day now. All right. I'm about to go to the gym, about to go get my workout on. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest on earth. Stay focused, stay healthy. Remember, nobody is above the program. And I'm going to see y'all the same time tomorrow. And then we got after hours tonight. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.